Welcome into Lowell Park in Cotuit, Massachusetts for the third and final time this season. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks traveling out west to take on the Cotuit Kettleers in the sixth and final game of this year's Patriot Cup. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the pregame show on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein, and the Hawks have been hot, to say the least. They've won 4 straight, the last 3 coming at home, taking a win against Chatham last night, Wareham also yesterday in what was a protested game. The final 3 innings finished up on yesterday's afternoon contest. The final score of that Wareham game, 6-5, not changing from 2 weeks ago. And then the Harbor Hawks took down Bourne, that coming back 3 games ago, and that one was a score of 8-4. Before that, Hyannis took down Bourne on the road at Durham Park, 4-3. So those are your 4 wins for the Harbor Hawks up to this point, and they're looking to make the winning streak 5 here against the Cotuit Kettleers, who currently sit in last place in a tie with Bourne, 29 points in the Western Division. Last time these two teams faced off in Hyannis and Cotuit, Kettleers took that contest, that coming 5 days ago out at McKeon Park, where the Kettleers went up 3-2 in the Patriot Cup Series. We'll take you back and relive those highlights right here.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here to Lowell Park. Here in Cotuit, I am Robert Marcello. Who was alongside Chris Lucey as we have today the third game of the Patriot League Cup. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks are on the road against the Cotuit Kettleers. 2-2 pitch. That is a laser that gets past the shortstop and the third baseman. It'll be 1-0 Cotuit. Here is that error plays costly. 1-1 pitch. That is a laser out to center field. That is gone. See you later, Thomas Dillard. The Cotuit Kettleers are now up 4-0. Fowler leaving that pitch right up high in the zone. Dillard taking advantage of it. That is a laser out to left field. And that will be gone. Home run. Davis Wenzel with a laser out in the gap. The left fielder unable to catch it, and it is now 6-1. Wenzel with a solo shot.
1-0. Hacked on and roped out into the right center field gap. Ellis and Robertson converging on the ball, and it bounces over the wall out in right center field for a ground rule double. That sends Will Holland in to score, and that cuts the Cotuit lead to 6. It is 8-2 Cotuit here at Lowell Park on the 2-out double from Davis Wenzel here at bottom of the 7th. Hacked on and crushed high into the night sky here at Lowell Park, but right to the center fielder Ellis. And the Texas Longhorn closes his glove on the final out of an 8-3 win for the Cotuit Kettleers as the Barnstable Ball Club pours out onto the field from their dugout. Everybody giving fist bumps and high fives. And Hyannis with 9 hits and 2 errors.
That game coming back on Saturday night at McKeon Park. Once again, a 9-5 victory for the Cotuit Kettleers as they took a 3-2 lead in the 2018 Patriot Cup. To retake you through the first 4 games, in Game 1, Hyannis took the match here at Lowell Park in Cotuit. That one coming in the first week of the season. Highlight of that game, St. John's right-hander Gavin Hollowell came in to slam the door and touched as high as 98 miles an hour on the radar gun here at Lowell Park. That game won a 4-1 win for Hyannis. Next 2 were in favor of the Kettleers. Cotuit took Game 2 10-4 at McKeon Park and then turned around with another 8-3 win here at Lowell. Then Hyannis deadlocked this season series at 2 apiece with a 5-2 win, that coming in Game 4 out at McKeon Park. And just when Hyannis thought they might be able to swing the series lead in their favor, the Kettleers come up with a 9-5 win just 5 days ago. And now Hyannis out for the final time, trying to make it 6 in that Game 5. Hyannis had 11 hits and out-hit the Kettleers, but left 12 guys on base, and that has been an Achilles heel for them all season long. Both teams scored 3 runs in that first inning back in Game 5, but then the Kettleers slowly started to edge away, a run in the 2nd, 3rd, and 5th inning, and then a 3 spot in the 8th. 10-5, the final score in that Game 5 between the two, 9-5, the final score in that Game 5 between those two teams. Now Hyannis looking to make it a season series tie here at Lowell Park, looking to make the series 3-3 on the summer. We'll have much more on this series, and then wrapping up last night's game as well with an interview from Dani Terzer and last night's pitcher Houston Roth when we return here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks pregame show, I'm your host, Lyle Goldstein. First pitch just over 15 minutes away here at Lowell Park between the Harbor Hawks and the Cotuit Kettleers. Harbor Hawks sitting at first place in the Western Division with 38 points, just a single point ahead of the Wareham Gatemen with 37. And in total on the Cape, Harbor Hawks sit in second, 4 points behind the East Division leading Whitey Red Sox. But to take you back to last night's game, Harbor Hawks won by a score of 12-5, we should say, against the Chatham A's. 3 games ago, that was 8-4 against the Bourne Braves. Then in the afternoon game against the Gatemen, they locked down the final 3 innings and won 6-5. And last night's contest, 12-5 victory over the Chatham Anglers. First win Hyannis has grabbed over the A's this season. Harbor Hawks, 12 runs on 12 hits, 3 errors, and leaving 9 on base. But the story early on for the Harbor Hawks ball club, especially on the mound, Ole Miss right-hander Houston Roth, who tailed off a little bit toward the end of his start. His final line was 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, walked 2, and struck out 8. Those 8 punch-outs, a season high for him, breaking his previous high total of 5 in the previous start he made. 8 strikeouts for Roth in last night's ball game, and a clean first 4 innings, only giving up 3 hits, all of them singles through the first 4. That 5th inning just really got to him a little bit. But for the most part for Roth, a really, really strong outing. Had his pitches working, fastball sitting in the low 90s, sweeping, breaking stuff, keeping these Chatham A's hitters off balance all game long. And Dani Terzer, our sideline reporter, caught up with the Ole Miss right-hander about his start last night.
Houston, top of the first inning yesterday. You struck out 3 of the 4 batters that you faced. How did that help set the tone for the rest of your outing?
Yeah, the first inning is very important, and once you go out there and have a good first inning like that, it definitely sets the pace for the rest of the game.
Your off-speed pitches were working really well for you as well. How have those developed over the course of this summer?
Yeah, no, the off-speed was great yesterday. Put in a curveball since I got up here. Used the curveball a lot yesterday. Changeup was fantastic, and even used the slider some, and slider was good. But, I've been working with Coach Korn, about hand placement and all that stuff, and he's helped me out a lot.
How did you stay warm and focused during that long 8-run inning of your team's yesterday?
Yeah, no, you love when your team scores runs, but at that point I was kind of getting a little antsy to get back out there on the mound. But went down to the bullpen, threw a couple pitches, to our catcher down there, and just tried to stay focused and locked in.
Thanks, Houston.
Thank you.
So Houston Roth putting together a fine start yesterday. Once again, 4 2/3, 8 strikeouts. Had both his fastball and his off-speed working really, really well through those first 4 innings, just got slightly away from the Ole Miss right-hander toward the end. But he was followed up in a 12-5 win by Adam Elliott, who picked up his first win on the summer. The Louisville left-hander went 2 1/3 innings, giving up no earned runs with 1 strikeout. And Dallas Baptist right-hander Parker Towns hurled the final 2 frames, no runs, and a trio of strikeouts. Harbor Hawks turn around today and make their way out to Lowell Park once again, 6th and final Patriot Cup matchup. And quickly, we'll take you through each lineup. First off, for the visiting Hyannis Harbor Hawks, they'll be led off by Davis Wenzel, followed by Will Holland, Auburn shortstop hitting second. Matthew Barefoot, 21-game hitting streak on the season, has reached base in every game he's played in. The Campbell Camel hitting third and playing left field. Seth Gray doing the cleanup duties, Wright State first baseman, playing first base for just the 3rd time this summer and in his baseball career. Todd Law hitting 5th, doing the designated hitting, followed by Trevor Hauver, the 2nd lefty in the Harbor Hawks order today, just 1 of 2 along with Gray. From Arizona State, playing right field. And the final third, Eric Rivera coming off a 5-for-5 night with a home run, back in the starting lineup playing center field. Kyle Wilkie doing the Clemson catcher hitting 8th, and Taylor Garris rounding out the 9. Samford, second baseman. Starter for the Harbor Hawks tonight, right-hander Zach Cohn making his 2nd start of the summer. Last one coming in a win against the Bourne Braves out at Doran Park. Now for the Cotuit Kettleers, the hometown team looking to win the 2018 Patriot Cup Series. A lineup of many familiar faces as the Harbor Hawks and Cotuit Kettleers squaring up once again for the 6th time. Will Robertson doing the leadoff, the Creighton right fielder, followed by Peyton Burdick, whose one shining moment out here on the Cape came in that first game with his 3 home runs on opening night for Cotuit. Wright State center fielder hitting second, followed by Thomas Dillard doing the designated hitting out of Ole Miss. Michael Salvatore, Florida State shortstop in the cleanup hole. Michael Tolia hitting 5th, playing first base out of UCLA. Florida third baseman Brady Smith hitting 6th. Duke Ellis, Texas left fielder in the 7th spot. Corey Wood playing second base and hitting 8th out of Coastal Carolina. And rounding out the 9, Dallas Baptist catcher Garrett Wolforth. The starting pitcher for the Kettleers tonight, right-hander Luke Chevalier, 6'1", 200-pound man out of Northern State University. And what an interesting story for this kid. Listed on Point Streak that he's from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That actually a misconception. Luke Chevalier grew up right in the very town of Cotuit, coming to Kettleers games. Although he didn't want people knowing that, he wanted to earn his spot just like any other player, not because he was the hometown kid. Kettleers said they'd give him 1 start. First outing he got was back on June the 16th against the Orleans Firebirds out at Eldridge Park. And what does he do? He picks up a win in 5 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs, striking out 4. He earned his spot and got another chance. Went 3 innings, a 3-run ball the next time out in a 5-4 loss against the Brewster Whitecaps. But how about this for the local kid in Chevalier? In his last 9 1/3 innings pitched, he's allowed just 1 earned run. Chevalier making his 3rd start of the summer, first start here at Lowell Park in Cotuit, so got to be a special moment for him. Chevalier has really been on this season. 1-0 record, 3 ERA exactly in 7 games pitched. 18 innings total, 15 strikeouts, and 7 walks. And once again, Chevalier is set to make his 3rd appearance of the summer. That'll just about do it here on the postgame show, but not before we quickly take you around the rest of the league. Out at Red Wilson Field, the Bourne Braves and Whitey Red Sox set to square off in an interdivision matchup. Bourne sitting at last place in a tie with Cotuit in the Western Division with 29 points. Stony Brook Field will feature the Chatham Anglers, who were defeated by these very Harbor Hawks last night 12-5. They'll take on the Brewster Whitecaps, the last place Eastern Division team and the last place Cape League team with 21 points. However, they trail Orleans by just 4. Speaking of Orleans, they make their way out west to Falmouth tonight and Gov Fuller Field taking on the Commodores. And how about this for the Orleans for a reinforcement? Team USA right-handed pitcher Kenyon Yovan out of the University of Oregon making his return to Orleans and getting the start for the Firebirds tonight, looking to keep that number 4 spot in the Eastern Division and lock up a playoff spot in the coming weeks. White House Field consists of the Wareham Gatemen, now trailing the Harbor Hawks by just a point in the Western Division. Derek West getting the start for them, facing the Harwich Mariners out at White House Field, who the Harbor Hawks swept 4-0 on this 2018 summer. And finally, once again out at Lowell Park, Harbor Hawks and Kettleers' 6th and final game of the 2018 Patriot Cup Series. Zach Cohn, right-hander out of Central Michigan, squaring off against Luke Chevalier, hometown kid right-hander from Northern State University. That'll wrap up the pregame show on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. You can catch me again in the 4th inning for the Around the League update, as well as the post-game show and Hawk Talk, our video wrap-up on our YouTube page. You can also find all our highlights on our SoundCloud and YouTube page as well, along with our Twitter account, @Harbor Hawks. First pitch slated in less than 10 minutes. Harbor Hawks and Cotuit Kettleers set to go here at Lowell Park. Right after this, Chris, Lucey, and Robert Marcello will have the call for you when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Time for lineups and first pitch on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
welcome here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I am Robert Marcello, alongside Chris Lucey, as we have the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the road heading off against the Cotuit Kettleers.
Beautiful day out here in Cotuit, Robert. I mean, who's got it better than us? Modest crowd on hand for final game of the Patriot Cup Series, at least in the regular season. But, I mean, the Kettleers at this point pretty much have it all sewn up. There's a couple of tiebreakers at play, but they have a 3-2 lead in the series right now coming into today's game. And tiebreakers being, if I can just go through them really quickly, runs, strikeouts, and a wacky one, a bat flip, if either of those two end up tied as well. But, Robert, it's a tough ask for Hyannis to take home their first Patriot Cup since 2015 today. They would need to win this game by 9 runs to do so, as the Kettleers have a 30-21 run differential lead out here in the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series.
They sure do, as now the both teams just getting ready to get on the field to warm up and get ready to go. I'll go through the lineup quickly while we're waiting. Davis Wenzel is leading off, playing at third. Will Holland, the shortstop. Matthew Barefoot out in left field. Seth Gray playing first base. Todd Lott, the DH today. Trevor Harver and right. Eric Rivera in center. Kyle Wookie's the catcher, and to round up the 9, Taylor Garris is over at second base.
Usual 9 we've been seeing for the Harbor Hawks these last couple of days. Taylor Garris getting everyday playing time for the first time really this season over the last couple of games, as Raiden Como's just been getting a little bit of rest later in the season, trying to get him ready for the playoffs and well rested for the playoffs as well. I mean, when he's at 100%, he is one of the best second basemen in the league. So Hyannis just wanted to get him some rest so he can be that guy for the entirety of the playoffs. And then, of course, Zach Cohn taking the mound for the Harbor Hawks was a steady hand in the last time he came for a start. This will be his second start of the season, and he'll be facing off against Luke Chevalier for the Kettleers.
Sure is. He is from Northern State University. Going to be a senior in the fall.
He has deep roots in Cotuit as well, Robert. Grew up going to Kettleers camp. A native of Cotuit.
Sure is now quickly going to go around the infield. We have Michael Tolia over at first base. Over at second is Corey Wood. Over at shortstop is Salvatore. Over at third base is Smith. Out in left field is Duke Ellis. Out in center field is Peyton Burdick. And to round up the defensive 9, Will Robertson is the right fielder.
And, of course, Luke Chevalier pitching in front of those guys. Good season so far for the alum of East Sturgis Charter, which is just a 15-minute drive from the ballpark here. A 1-0 record, of ERA of 3. This will be his third start of the season in 18 innings pitched. It's only walked 7, allowed 19 hits, which isn't great, but struck out 15. So a guy who can really get by with the strikeout pitch, and Hyannis will have to make sure they are able to keep their ducks in a row. I mean, won't be too hard with the role that Hyannis is on right now. They have been very disciplined all season long, and in their last 7 games, they have just been ripping the cover off the baseball.
They sure have. And the catcher for the Cotuit Kettleers is Garrett Wilforth. Davis Wenzel to lead things off. And the first pitch of the game from Low Park is in for a strike. That was in a 91-mile-per-hour fastball. Just couching the outer edge. A 5 o'clock start here at Low Park because they don't have lights. That next pitch is sent foul. Count now at 0-2. Same exact way to start the game's first pitch. Happens the same way in the second. 91-mile-per-hour fastball. Trying to whiz it by Davis Wenzel. And an 0-2 pitch. That pitch is outside. 81 miles per hour. Off-speed pitch.
Pretty hard to sneak one by Wenzel. He's a team leader in walks with 17 so far this season.
The 1-2 pitch. That pitch is in the dirt. Wenzel did not go on the check swing. Count even at 2-2. A beautiful day for baseball. Not a cloud in the sky here in Cotuit. Had some pretty good weather. And the 2-2 pitch sent fouled off. Still 2-2 count.
Dave's having a solid season for Hyannis, batting .266 in 28 games, 109 at-bats. Tops on the team as well. 29 hits in those 109 at-bats.
And the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 at that off-speed pitch for the first out in the top of the first.
I mean, only 26 strikeouts now in 110 at-bats for Wenzel. Chevalier with a very deceptive movement out there on the mound. So Davis a tough out, and Chevalier really starting the game on the right foot.
Sure is. Now Will Holland now up, the Auburn Tiger. And the first pitch in from Holland is sent out to center field where Peyton Burdick is going to be able to go on and get it, and he does. He fight off the shade out in center field for the second out. 2 quick outs. Matthew Barefoot now up, the left fielder today for the Harbor Hawks. 2 quick outs in the top of the first. Cotuit trying to get out of this, so 1-2-3 inning. First pitch into Barefoot is called the strike, just on the inside part of the plate. Barefoot quickly down 0-1 in the count. 0-1 pitch. Hits Matthew Barefoot. And a 2-out hit by man pitch. Hopefully we'll get the Harbor Hawks going.
The call from the home plate umpire, Pat Sparky Burns, didn't sound any different really from a strike call, but Matt Barefoot gets first base for free. He's moving down over towards the first base umpire, Al Libardoni. And Jay Dion is up the middle right now, but he'll be the umpire at third base.
Seth Gray now up, 4th man in the order. First pitch is fouled off right to the backstop here at Lowell Park. A good crowd on hand for a 5 o'clock start on a Thursday early evening. And the 0-1 pitch to Seth Gray's fouled off. Now quickly down 0-2. In the count, Matthew Barefoot is over at first.
Well, Seth's batting .295 on the season, so slowly creeping his way back towards 300. He was in the mid-300s for a good portion of the campaign.
Sure was. Has to throw back over to first. Michael Tolio over at first. Didn't even think about having to apply the tag because Matthew Barefoot was way in before that. And the 0-2 pitch. Swing is fouled off just to the left of us, right near the parking lot right behind us here at Lowell Park.
Wherever that thing landed drew a gasp from some fans for Cotuit over down the left field line.
And the 0-2 pitch. Grounded to the second baseman in Wood. He'll throw on to first and misses it. Matthew Barefoot now running over to third base in an error there by Corey Wood on a, looked like it was just going to be a basic out.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Chevalier to take early in this game. I mean, he was rolling. Hits Matt Barefoot. That's never good for a pitcher's confidence to be hitting guys. So he has to shake that off. And then he gets the out right after. So you think he can kind of settle down going into the dugout. But now he loses a little bit of confidence up the middle in Corey Wood and has to face off against Todd Lott, who's one of the most ferocious hitters in this Cape League.
He sure is. He's the DH today for the Harbor Hawks. Runners at the corners with 2 outs. First pitch in the Lott is sent out to right field, and it will not get down. Coming on to catch it was Robertson, and that will do it here in the top of the first. The Harbor Hawks unable to score any runs. Cotuit will be up for the first time today. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
Welcome back to things here at Lowell Park. Getting ready to start the bottom of the first inning. Quickly, just going to go around the infield for you while we have some time. Catching day for the Harbor Hawks is Kyle Wilkie. Over at first is Seth Gray. Over at second is Taylor Garris. Over at shortstop is Will Holland. Over at third base is Davis Wenzel. Out in left field is Matthew Barefoot. Out in center field is Eric Rivera. And to round up the defensive nine, Trevor Harver is in right field. Will Robertson now up, the right fielder for the Cotuit Kettleers. It says on the roster his name is Jonathan Robertson, but it is Will Robertson.
That's right, yeah. Jonathan, a family name, but he prefers to go by Will just because it makes things a little bit easier on him.
And Zach Cohn on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch from the Central Michigan product is in for a strike.
Cohn in his second start of the season, 1-0 record, 3.92 ERA.
And the 0-1 pitch. That's high for a ball at 82 miles per hour. The Harbor Hawks today in their road blue jerseys, while Cotuit is in their pinstripe white home jerseys. Continue what you were saying, Chris.
Cohn got his first start of the season in his last outing.
0-1 pitch is in for a ball. Count now sitting even at 1-1.
And it was in that start where he got his first win. 5 innings pitched, only 4 hits, 2 earned runs against the Bourne Braves. 5 Ks to go with it.
Counts even at 1-1. That pitch is in low for a ball. Count now is at 3-1. Going a little trouble early here in his first batter in the bottom of the first. 3-1 pitch to Robertson is in outside for a ball. And a leadoff walk for the Cotuit Kettleers, their first batter of the day.
Well, I mean, you don't want to really go right after Will Robertson. I mean, he has some crazy power potential. And we saw it at McKeon Park earlier this season. Last game these two ball clubs played against each other, Will Robertson hit a home run right out to dead right center field.
Peyton Burdick now up. First pitch is way outside for a ball. Count now is at 1-0 in Burdick's favor. Burdick, the center fielder today for the Cotuit Kettleers, was able to catch one of the outs in the top of the first. Cone throws back to first. He'll be safe as Seth Gray applied the tag, but Robertson way in before the ball was even thrown over. Taking a pretty healthy lead over at first is Robertson. And the 1-0 pitch is in for a strike. Counts now even at 1-1. Nobody out in the bottom of the first, but there is a man at first. As Zach Cohn walked Will Robertson. Throws back over to first. Almost gets past Seth Gray. That ball was in the dirt. Good pick by Seth Gray. Make sure the ball didn't get past him. Robertson gonna inch his way out again. 1-1 pitch from Cohn. Swing and a miss there by Peyton Burdick. Now the count sits at 1-2. Nobody out in the bottom of the first here at Lowell Park. Robertson still over at first, taking a very small lead. And the 1-2 pitch. In for a strike. Got him looking for the first out. And the first strikeout on the day for Zach Cohn.
Count that up at 23 strikeouts on the year for Burdick now, batting .203 going into that at-bat. So Cohn, knowing his scouting report right there, knows to go right after Burdick, and he just framed one up beautifully right on the outer black.
Thomas Dillard now up the DH for the Cotuit Kettleers, Old Miss product. Good friends with Houston Roth, the Harbor Hawk. And the pitch is In for a strike, just catches the outside part of the plate at 93 miles per hour on that fastball, whizzing it by Thomas Dillard. Still over at first is Robertson, taking a small lead off of first. The 0-1 pitch is outside for a ball. Count now even at 1-1. Cohen has to step off the mound. Just trying to regroup himself here. Shade starting to come over right where the Cotuit C is painted in the just behind home plate. The shades now starting to converge on Lowell Park. You'll see different shadows throughout the game. 1-1 pitch. That is in for a strike. Pretty high in the strike zone. Count now at 1-2.
Well, Dillard has to get in defense mode now. He's already got 30 strikeouts on the year, batting .260 though. So someone who can boast a lot of power to kind of level out the strikeouts.
Count is 1-2 to Dillard. The 1-2 pitch. In for a strike. Got him looking the second straight man that gets striked out. Second time he's got him looking.
And that's a big out for the Harbor Hawks. Thomas Dillard has hit all 3 of his home runs this season against Hyannis. So getting him down early and establishing your fastball against a hitter like Thomas Dillard definitely bodes well for the Harbor Hawks.
Michael Salvatore, the shortstop today for the Cotuit Kettleers. Robertson still the lone man over at first. That next pitch is punched out into the gap. Out in left center field. Throws to second base, and he is out. A great throw by Matthew Barefoot, being able to get it in and being able to make a nice tag. Was Taylor Garris for the third out. In the bottom of the first, after one, the score is still 0-0. Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the second. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Let's get you back to the game.
To lead things off in the top of the second is Trevor Hauver, the Arizona State product, the Sun Devil. And the first pitch of the top of the second inning is in for a strike. The 0-1 pitch. That is called for a strike in about the same spot. Hauver looking at both pitches. Moving quickly is the Cotuit Kettleers pitcher. That next pitch is grounded out to the pitcher and will go foul. Count still 0 at 0-2. Just dribbling down the line as the pitcher went to go get it, and noticed it was just dribbling, continuing to go foul. If it stayed fair, Hauver would have probably been safe because of his speed.
Yeah, Trevor was beating that one out, and he's been heating up recently. He has 3 hits in his last 6 at-bats, coming up to 313 on the year, 48 at-bats, 21 games played, 15 hits overall, including 8 RBIs and a home run.
Count sitting at 0-2, and the pitch is in. Grounds it right up the middle, but a stop by the shortstop Salvatore. Throws it on to first for the first out in the top of the second. A good stop there by Michael Salvatore, the shortstop, being able to get that ball right up the middle. Kept his body straight and just gunned it over to Michael Tolia over at first for the first out. in the top of the second. Eric Rivera now up to center fielder for the Harbor Hawks. And the first pitch of the at-bat is in right down the heart of the plate for a strike, a fastball in there at 93 miles per hour. And the 0-1 pitch hits Eric Rivera, and that's the second hit man the Cotuit Cavaliers pitcher has in the day.
I mean, when you're a sidewinder like that, you really have to keep yourself closed because it's so easy for you to fly open. When you fly open and your weight goes back rather than forward, easy to kind of just like have that arm flail out, and then you just end up beating people left and right. So Chevalier just needs to keep himself a bit more closed, move his momentum more towards home plate rather than towards the man standing next to home plate.
Kyle Wilkie now up the catcher today for the Harbor Hawks. The 8th man in the order. After him will be Taylor Garris. Being able to apply that nice tag on the third out of the inning. In the bottom of the first. Over at first, taking a sizable lead is Rivera. At first pitches. Called an outside strike. There, Wilkie shaking his head, didn't like it. Counts now quickly down 0-1 in Wilkie's non-favor. And the 0-1 pitch. Swings going foul, but Michael Tolia appears to have it. And he does. Just before the Harbor Hawks bench. Now for the second out in the top of the second. Taylor Garris now up, the 9th man in the order for the Harbor Hawks.
Taylor's batting .270 or .171 on the season, 35 at-bats, 18 games played. Only 6 hits so far, so he's looking to get himself in a lather now that he's getting everyday playing time.
And the first pitch in high for a ball. It's at 89. Just above the zone. Pitcher and the catcher of Cotuit now just meeting out on the mound. Quickly goes back as the catcher. Up after Garris, if Garris is able to get on, is the top of the order with Davis Wenzel, and then after him, Will Holland. Both are 0 for 1 on the day. A 1-0 count for Taylor Garris. Has to throw back over to first. Rivera doesn't even need to slide. Got his high socks up today, the blue socks for the Harbor Hawks. And the 1-0 pitch is in for a strike. Counts now even at 1-1. Even at 1-1, 2 outs with a man at first in Eric Rivera. Steps off the mound as the Cavaliers pitcher. Trying to give himself just a little more time. Saw Rivera really just inching out. Thought about throwing over, but just decides to step off. 1-1 count, 2 outs in the top of the second. A pitch out. Something we usually don't see. Thought Rivera was going to go. But don't worry, Eric Rivera was not fooled.
He was able just to jump right back over to first base, but showed some base stealing prowess last night in what was easily his best game of the summer.
Definitely was. Throws back to first. Rivera this time has to slide. He'll be safe. Haven't seen a lot of pickoffs this year from either squad. As the base runners so far really in this league just stay the way they are. We've seen a couple of mistakes, though. Next pitch in for a strike. Past 2 or 3 games, Chris, we've seen multiple double plays because of base running woes.
Yeah, definitely a lot of errors in the Bourne series for sure. The Braves in a free fall right now, 7 consecutive losses going into tonight. So not really in the best place mentally is the ball club from Bourne.
2-2 even count. And the pitch is in, swings out to right center field. The center fielder, Peyton Burdick, able to line to catch it for the third out. The Harbor Hawks still have no hits on the day. It is 0-0. The two will be up in the bottom of the second. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media Copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks digital network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
To lead things off in the bottom of the second inning, Michael Tolia now up. Cotuit has one hit to the Harbor Hawks, none, as they've been really shut out in the first two innings. Cone back out on his second inning of work. Swings it out to left field, but Matthew Barefoot on to catch it. For the first out, if that got down, that could have potentially been a double down the line, but Matthew Barefoot's speed being able to catch it.
And when a guy like Tolia puts a charge in the baseball, you pretty much have to be at attention in the outfield because he can send it right to you and send it right to you on a line. Tolia is one of the most lethal guys in this league, just projection-wise. I mean, 6'5", 220 pounds. If he gets a hold of one, he's sending it pretty far, and he sent 11 balls out of the yard for the UCLA Bruins this year.
First pitch is outside to Brady Smith, the third baseman today for the Cotuit Cavaliers. And the 1-0 pitch is way outside for a ball. And the 2-0 pitch in for a strike, just catches the outside part of the plate. Down now at 2-1. One out in the bottom of the second. It is 0-0 here at Lowell Park. That next pitch is fouled off just to the right of us. Cotuit Cavaliers ball boy runs over and gets it. Just before our broadcast table and past the fencing. Right in front of us. Count even at 2-2. One out. Next pitch is in low for a ball. Count sits now at full 3-2. One out in the bottom of the second, 0-0. Conell just trying to figure out what his pitch is. And the full pitch, 3-2. Way off the mark for a ball. Ball 4. Wilkie has to go pick up the ball. The backstop and a one-out walk. The second walk on the day for Zach Cone.
Still early on, so Cone doesn't really need to get too worried about getting his pitch count elevated at the moment right now, but definitely needs to just keep going after the zone. I mean, you have a guy at the plate up right now in Ellis who hasn't really been having the easiest time of things recently, only batting 200 on the season in 40 at-bats.
Duke Ellis's first pitch is first strike. Count now at 0-1. Looking back over at first is Cone, but Smith doesn't even bother having to go back. And the 0-1 pitch. Way outside for a ball count, even at 1-1, as that was a 91 mile per hour fastball.
And Cohen's velocity in his starts, I must say, is very steady throughout. You'll see him hit 93, 94 coming out of the pen, but he can drag that out throughout the length of a game, too.
And the 1-1 pitch. Sends it foul. Count now is at 1-2. Cohen trying to get the second out of the inning. Trying to keep Brady Smith just over at first. Looking back over. Cohen steps off the mound there. Him and Kyle Wilkie appear to be having some communication troubles there, just trying to figure out what the new pitch is. And the 1-2 pitch. Swings just off the netting behind home plate. Count still at 1-2. Man over at first with one out in the bottom of the second. 0-0 from Lowell Park. If you're joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. And the 1-2 pitch. High for a ball. Just couldn't come back down in the zone. Counts at 2-2 even. 2-2 count even. Pitches in. Sends it just foul there. Wenzel thought about was going to come back on the field of play, but quickly just goes back to his position over at third. Count still at 2-2. Count still at 2-2 even. The infield for the Harbor Hawks playing a double play depth, knowing there's a man over at first. 2-2 pitch. That is a ball inside there. Zach Cohn there, not happy about that. Letting the home plate umpire know. The whole Harbor Hawk bench letting them know there.
Yeah, that was a bit of a rough moment right there for Pat Burns behind home plate. The entire Harbor Hawks side just erupting at him.
Counts full 3-2. That is ball 4. And now runners at first and second with one out. And I guarantee you, if the Harbor Hawks didn't give the home plate umpire on that 2-2 call, he would have struck him out there. That was also a strike as well.
Well, I mean, at this point now, you know that pitch isn't really in Burns' wheelhouse today. You just have to avoid that low outside corner because that's just a 50-50 call.
Absolutely. Now Corey Wood now up. Second baseman for the Cotuit Cavaliers.
It's always, of course, not the best to feel as though you're getting squeezed.
Definitely not that. First pitch is low for a ball. Cohen, for the most part, really today, he's had to play behind the sticks, really, when it comes to counts.
That's true, yeah, but early in the inning, early in the game, you just have to kind of feel out where that strike zone is, and you have to learn, too. You might get squeezed a little bit, but you start to learn where you can get your strikes.
1-0 pitch is now a ball for ball 2.
And, I mean, there was another pitch around the same location. Sure, that was in to the now left-handed hitting Corey Wood, but regardless, that kind of right side of the plate is just not a place where the Harbor Hawks can really find strikes, so they need to improvise. They need to move pitches around the zone or maybe even force a couple swings and misses.
Ray Cornell out to talk to Zach Cohn, the home plate umpire, just around the first base side. Giving them just a couple of seconds to be able to talk. Might have to go back out there in a little while, though. Runners at first and second with one out in the bottom of the second. A good crowd here today at Lowell Park, as normally there is. The last time we were here, pretty loud crowd for sure.
Cotuit always does a great job of pumping up the volume in this stadium, I must say. And for a Harbor Hawks broadcaster, being on the opposite side of the Barnstable Patriot Cup rivalry, it's just a fun atmosphere to watch a baseball game. Much like McKeon Park, too, especially when Cotuit comes there.
It sure is, and the Harbor Hawks fans definitely show up for that. 2-0 count into Wood. That next pitch is outside for a ball. Counts now at 3-0 and in danger of having the bases loaded. Just one out. Zach Cohn really has to bear down here. Just get me over fastball in for a strike. And that pitch is ball 4. The bases are now loaded. And the 4th walk on the day for Zach Cohn.
How about 3 in just this inning and on consecutive batters as well? Zach Cohn has really backed himself up to a wall here. He has to start throwing some strikes. And an out in Garrett Wolforth is highly, highly needed as the lineup's about to turn over, and both Robertson, Burdick, and Dillard at the top 3 spots all boast some considerable power.
The infield for the Harbor Hawks playing a double play depth. That first pitch into Wolforth is outside for a ball. Cohn losing his command really so far today. Let's see if he can bear down here. It is a 1-0 count. Pitch is in. That is called a strike now. Counts even at 1-1. One count. Pitch is outside for a ball. Two 1 count. Cotuit Cavaliers coach letting the home plate umpire know as well.
And Mike Roberts really getting after him too.
2-1 pitch. That is in low for a ball. Counts now at 3-1.
I mean, it's not like the strike zone being a little bit tight right now is necessarily hurting the Cavaliers in any stretch. But Roberts is still just going after the home plate umpire.
And the 3-1 pitch. Sent out down the left field line. It will get down. 1 run does score. Another one behind him. And that run will stay over at third. The score is now 2-0 Cotuit. And Cohn leaving a ball right on the middle of the plate.
I mean, when you're having trouble finding the black on the outer corners of the plate, and of course the strike zone has been a little bit in flux earlier today, you're prone to making those kind of mistakes. You're prone to trying to just place the ball right there, and it looks like that's kind of what bit Cohn. But a great play out in left field from Matt Barefoot, getting over to the corner in a hurry and relaying the ball in to only allow 1 run to score, or 2.
So Robertson now up. Bases are not loaded. There's a man over at second and third. That next pitch is sent foul. There, if that stayed fair, that would have been long gone out of this ballpark there. Robertson, his timing just was not there. Quickly down 0-1 in the count. There's still 1 out. That next pitch is in the dirt for a ball. Even the count at 1-1. That next pitch is in the dirt. Now 2-1 count. Cohn right now having a hard time trying to find his command today. He's already let up 2 runs in the bottom of the second. Counts now at 2-1. That is outside for a ball. Now 3-1.
Cohn reading the scouting report on Robertson. You can't leave anything over the plate to this guy. He's just too dangerous of a hitter.
Sure is. The 3-1 count. 3-1 pitch. Sent foul. Counts now at full. 3-2.
I mean, Robertson sent 12 baseballs out of the yard playing down in Omaha for Creighton this year. So you can't really play with a guy like this. You can't give him stuff over the plate. He's just going to mash it.
Counts full. 3-2. Pitch from Cohn. Sent right down in right field. 1 run does score. Another one right behind him. And he'll be in. The scores now 4-0 Cotuit. Here in the Calvary in the bottom of the second continues for the Cavaliers.
Again, Will Robertson, he has that kind of tendency where if you leave things over the heart of the plate, he can just crush the ball, and did so right there. Hit a laser out to right field. Got down just over to the left of Trevor Hopper, who had to hustle as the ball just died in the dry grass out over in right field. You see a couple of gray patches out there as the sun has just been beating down on this field all season.
Peyton Burdick now up 0 for 1 on the day as he struck out in the the bottom of the first inning. Robertson over at second. And caught by the first baseman, Seth Gray, just down the line. And that is now the second out. Really unable to see it from our vantage point, but the home plate umpire lets us know if it was an out or not.
Well, again, it's Burns' call to make, and Seth Gray giving Cone a huge relief here. He's been roughed up early on, and to grab an out like that, crucial. Right before it goes out of play, too.
Thomas Dillard now up. Last time he was up, he struck out as well. That next pitch is sent foul. First pitch of the bat. Quickly down 0-1 in the count is Thomas Dillard. Hitting the college baseball home run derby in Omaha, Nebraska. 0-1 pitch. Sent down the left field line. Matthew Barefoot on to catch it. He is unable to do so as he slid for the ball, just like he was sliding into a base. But he just grabs the ball and just throws it back in the field of play to Will Holland.
Great read on the ball right there by Barefoot, about as close as you could get to it. You could see it bounce off his glove as he slid, but, I mean, just a tough play to make coming out of the sun and into the shade as well.
A good effort for sure by Matthew Barefoot. As you said, Chris, it is shady down there. Really the only part of the ballpark that is shady. You're now seeing just little spots behind home plate. The sun is going down. A beautiful day today. Very comfortable weather. Not too hot, not too cold. Just a slight little breeze, but that will come on. That will start happening throughout the early evening. 0-2 pitch. Strike three. Got him looking there. Thomas Dillard not happy about that one. But that does not happen until the Cotuit Cavaliers score 4 runs. After 2 innings, the score is 4-0 Cotuit. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back to lead things off. In the top of the third inning, Davis Wenzel up. First pitch in for a strike at 74 miles per hour, an off-speed pitch. And the 0-1 pitch is fouled off just above us here at Lowell Park. Wenzel 0 for 1 on the day. And the 0-2 pitch swings it just to the shortstop, Salvatore And a pop fly out for the first out in the top of the third. This is my solo inning. Now up is Will Holland, the Auburn Tiger. He's also 0 for 1 on the day. The Harbor Hawks haven't been able to have a hit yet today. Next pitch is called just outside for a strike at 89 miles per hour. Cotuit has 3 hits, but they have an error. Both teams really have an error. That pitch is in for a strike now, an 0-2 count. Looking for Will Holland. Chevrolet working very quickly for the Cotuit Cavaliers. And the 0-2 pitch. And we'll have to see what goes on here. Will Holland. And it was a foul ball off the bat there. Will Holland. I think he got hit in the head there, but actually hit off his bat. Counts still at 0-2. You're 1 out in top of the third. Pretty hostile crowd here today in Cotuit. Really just letting this home plate umpire know they haven't been liking his calls. Both sides have. Count still at 0-2. 1 out in the top of the third. Pitch is fouled off right behind us here at Lowell Park. Still an 0-2 count. 1 out in the top of the third. 4-0 Cotuit if you're just joining us here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. That cone was moving pretty quickly. That next pitch is fouled off. The exact same spot. Still an 0-2 count. And the 0-2 pitch. It's called high for a ball. Count now at 1-2. Here with 1 out. And the 1-2 pitch is sent foul. Once again, a long at bat for Will Holland. Counts now at 1-2. Still. A long at bat for Holland. A 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 for the second out in the top of the third. And that is the second strikeout on the day for Chevrolet. Matthew Barefoot now up. Last time he was up, he's hit by pitch. And the pitch is in for a strike. Quickly down the count, 0-1 is Matthew Barefoot. The 0-1 pitch. Swings out and will get down out in right field. As Wood over a second was shaded near the shortstop. Had no chance to be able to get that one in a 2-out hit. Now is the Harbor Hawks in the hitting column. Seth Gray now up, the Wright State product. 2 outs, though, in the top of the third inning. Barefoot taking a small lead off of third. Sorry, off of first. First pitch is in for a ball. A little high Seth Gray did not offer, though. Would have gone right up the elevator shaft. Probably would have been the third out of the inning. Steps off the bag is the pitcher for the Kettleers. 2 outs, man at first. 4-0 Cotuit. Harbor Hawks trying to cut into this deficit. And the 1-0 pitch. Swings out to the shortstop, and Salvatore throws it on to first. And the Harbor Hawks unable to get anything in the top of the third. Is still 4-0. Here from Lowell Park. Cotuit will be up, though, in the bottom of the third. We will be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Rob Marcello.
Welcome back to things here in Cotuit. Now in the bottom of the third inning. Michael Salvatore, the only man that did not bat for the Kettleers in the bottom of the second, as it was a pretty long inning here from Lowell Park. And the first pitch in for a strike. Quickly down the count, 0-1 is Salvatore. To lead things off in the bottom of the third. Next pitch is grounded out to Davis Wenzel over at third base. Throws it on to first for the first out in the bottom of the third. Michael Tolia now up. And then after that will be Brady Smith. Cone trying to have a clean bottom of the third inning as he struggled mightily in the second. And the first pitch in, swing and a miss there by Michael Tolia. Cone in his first start was very effective. Pretty much the same for today, but just had that 1 out of 2 innings that were pretty rough. And the 0-1 pitch in for a strike. Back-to-back strikes. Quickly now has Michael Tolia down 0-2 in the count. Tolia plays first base. Pretty tall guy. 0-2 pitch. That's ball outside. Count now at 1-2. Tolia is 6'5". 1-2 pitch is way outside for a ball. Count now even at 2-2. One out in the bottom of the third. 4-0 Cotuit. 2-2 pitch. Sent out to right field as Trevor Harver has to fight off the sun. Does have glasses on. He's able to catch it for the second out in the bottom of the third. Now up Brady Smith. There's no outs or bats recorded because he walked the first time he was up. Cone has 4 walks on the day. Shade now really just starting to cover Davis Wenzel just over at third and barefoot somewhat, but he's in pretty much the direct sunlight that First pitch is fouled off. Cone much better here in the third. Trying to get this final out. He was able to get that first out in the bottom of the second, but then after that, everything went pretty south. That one pitch swinging a miss at that fastball at 90 miles per hour. From Cone now, the count is at 0-2. Cone trying to get out of this 1-2-3. Still only being down by 4 runs. The 0-2 pitch. That is a ball there. Cone. Looked like he was walking off the mound there. Counts now at 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Grounds it right up the middle on a 2-out single. Here now, Duke Ellis is up. Last time he was up, he also walked. No bat recorded. See if Smith can go here with some speed, but over at the hot corner over at third. Wenzel playing in somewhat. Taking the lead off of first. First pitch in for a strike. Bending his knees is Duke Ellis. And the 0-1 pitch. The ball low. Count even at 1-1. 2 outs in the bottom of the third. And the 1-1 pitch. High outside for a ball. Counts now at 2-1. 88 miles per hour was that pitch from Zach Cone. Two-one is the count. And the 2-1 pitch. Outside for the ball. Now count at 3-1. Three-one count here to Duke Ellis, the 7th man in the order for the Kettleers. 3-2 pitch. That is a ground ball right to the pitcher and Cone. He's able to throw it on to first. Cone being able to get out of this one after letting up a 2-out single after 3 innings. It is 4-0 Cotuit. The Harbor Hawks will be up in the top of the fourth. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
To lead things off in the top of the fourth, Todd Lott now up. Trying to get something going for the Harbor Hawks. They're down 4-0. And the first pitch, way outside for a ball. Bounces into the backstop here at Lowell Park. The last time he was up, he flew out in the outfield to right field. 0-1 pitch, right down the heart of the plate in for a strike. Counts now even at 1-1.
Well, if there's anyone who can charge some life into the Harbor Hawks right now, it's Lott.
One pitch. Sent out to the center fielder in Burdick. He has it for the first out in the top of the fourth.
I mean, the ball off of Todd Lott's bat, whether it's an out or whether it's a 3-run jack, is really just, there's not a different sound. It's always just a crack. He gets under it, and he can really send it high into the air, or he can send a laser out to any field. And I mean, the first at-bat he had in this game was a fly out to right, but required a nice running catch from Will Robertson.
Trevor Harver now up 0 for 1 on the day. Grounded out the last time he was up in the top of the second inning. Harbor Hawks only have 1 hit on the day. That next pitch is out of play, but third baseman Smith on to catch it, and he does. For the second out on the top of the fourth. 2 quick outs.
Gosh, it is not easy to field the ball down the left side of the entirety of Lowell Park, essentially. I mean, third base is in the shade, so the ball is always coming out of the sun, and then likewise out in left field.
Now up is Eric Rivera. Last time he was up, he was hit by pitch. That first pitch high for the ball. Count now at 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch. Way high for a ball. Almost gets hit again. Counts now at 2-0. And the 2-0 pitch. That's ball high. Ball 3. Count now at 3-0. With 2 outs in the top of the fourth. And the 3-0 pitch. And that is ball 4 there. And a 2-out walk for the Harbor Hawks. Hopefully we'll get them going as they're down by 4 runs.
Well, if you talk about someone getting going, Eric Rivera is somebody who came to life for Hyannis last night. And it's just patience paying off for him, really, and also the confidence of Chad Gassman, keeping him in there even when Rivera was below the Mendoza line. He jumped above it in a big way last night and still just continued to be patient. I mean, he was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat, but that was a nice little walk there, too.
Kyle Wilkie up. First pitch of this at-bat is in for a ball. Last time he was up, he flew out to the first baseman. Now on the mound is the pitching coach for the Cotuit Cavaliers.
Jerry Weinstein out there for a word. Yeah, it's tough to see why necessarily. I mean, Chevalier really has been dealing so far in this game. 50 pitches deep. He's thrown 37 of them for strikes. So Chevalier really hasn't been giving the Harbor Hawks too much to work with, and he got 2 quick outs to start this inning. I guess Weinstein just nitpicking the righty out of Northern State right now.
He's definitely getting ahead of guys in the counts, and that's really helped him. Something that all pitchers want to be able to do. Makes their job a lot easier, for sure.
I mean, you're in control of the at-bat when you get ahead of the count. It's just that simple. And since he was flying open earlier in this game, Chevalier is doing a much better job of staying closed.
1-0 pitch in for a strike. Count now is at 1-1, even. Over at first is Rivera taking a small lead, thinking about going. Just trying to get someone in scoring position. 1-1 pitch. Sent in to the right fielder. And Robertson, he's able to catch it. And the Harbor Hawks unable to get anything here. Still 4-0 here at Lowell Park. The Cotuit Cavaliers will be up, though, in the bottom of the fourth. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
Welcome back. To lead things off in the bottom of the fourth is Corey Wood. Corey Wood walked and was a part of that barrage really in the second inning where Cone had his 3 walks, but in the third inning, did a pretty nice job here in the fourth, trying to do the same. That first pitch in for a strike. Quickly down 0-1 in the count is Corey Wood. And the 0-1 pitch. That is a high strike call there. Corey Wood shaking his head there. And the 0-2 pitch. That is in for strike 3 there. And a strikeout for Zach Cone. His 4th on the day.
Another looking K right there for Zach Cone. Make that 3 looking strikeouts for the righty out of Central Michigan.
First pitch inside for a ball. 3 looking and 1 swinging.
I mean, you really have to credit him for bearing down after that marathon bottom of the second.
Definitely doing a very good job getting ahead of his next hitter in Wilford. Next pitch in for a strike there. Counts even at 1-1.
I mean, a 2-hit, 3-walk bottom in the second inning was definitely a really tough one for Cone, but he's still out there.
1-1 pitch is fouled off that off speed. Looked like a curveball, just trying to drop in the zone. Wolfert way ahead of it, though, as he fouled it off. Counts now in Cone's favor at 1-2. 1 out in the bottom of the fourth. It is 6:05. And the 1-2 pitch. Grounded over the first baseman, and Seth Gray being able to step on the first with the unassisted play. Now 2 outs.
2 quick outs right there. Very important for Zach Cone, and his pitch count is starting to get elevated. He's at 72 pitches right now. So 39 for strikes, 31 for balls. So he has definitely rebounded from an inning in the bottom of the second where he issued 4 free passes and definitely gotten some heavy counts.
Will Robertson back of the order up now for the Kettleers. He sends one out to center field where Eric Rivera is able to get under it and catch it. And back-to-back really good innings from Zach Cone. It is 4-0 after 4 innings. Hyannis will be up, though, in the top of the 5th. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome into your Around the League update on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Lyle Goldstein. 4-0 here in Cotuit, but around the rest of the league, out at Red Wilson Field, Whitey leading the Bourne Braves 3-0. Bourne sitting at last place in the Western Division. Out at Stony Brook Field, an Eastern Division matchup, the Chatham Anglers, who the Harbor Hawks beat in last night's contest, 10-5, up 5-0 on Brewster. Brewster sitting at last place in the Eastern Division. Other 2 games yet to start between Orleans and Falmouth, as well as Wareham and Harwich. But once again, 3-0 YD and 5-0 Chatham. We'll take a short break and take you right back to the broadcast after this on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand new show bringing you everything Harbor Hawk. This is Birds the Word, a comprehensive new way to engage with your favorite summer ball team. I'm your host, Harrison Myers, and every Thursday until the end of the 2018 Cape League season, we'll bring you everything Harbor Hawk. Interviews with players and coaches, behind-the-scenes tours, and stories you may not have heard about. Make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss any of the action.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks, Lyle Goldstein and Robert Marcello.
Welcome back. Leading things off in the top of the fifth is Taylor Garris. First pitch outside, first strike call there. Garris is 0 for 1 on the day. The next pitch is fouled off. Quickly down the count, 0-2 is Garris, already being 0 for 1 on the day. Matthew Barefoot today, the only hit for the Harbor Hawks. That next pitch is really high for a ball. Almost hits Taylor Garris. Counts now at 1-2. And calls time just before the pitcher for Cotuit was ready to pitch. But he did not go through his whole set, though, so he's all right. The 1-2 pitch. In for strike three. Got him looking for the first out in the top of the fifth.
And the worst part of this for the Harbor Hawks right now is that Chevalier is showing no signs of slowing down. Only 57 pitches into his outing right now. He is on a roll. And the Hyannis bats have just been unable to get anything on him today.
It's true. Is the only one hit is Matthew Barefoot down the left field line. Or sorry, down the right field corner there, just dropping in between the second baseman and the right fielder.
What a hit streak for him.
Yes, absolutely. A one pitch in for a strike, right about the same spot. Quickly down 0-2 in the count. Working very quickly as the Kettleers pitcher. That pitch is in low for a ball. Count now at 1-2.
I mean, now 22 consecutive games with a hit for Matthew Barefoot.
And a 1-2 pitch. That is sent out to left center field, and it will get down in the gap. Wenzel racing around second, and he'll be standing up with a one-out double, the second hit of the day for the Harbor Hawks.
Big knock right there for Hyannis. I mean, when you've just been unable to get anything going against the other team's pitcher, and all of a sudden, just there's a rope up the middle, that's a vote of confidence for your offense. I mean, this Hyannis offense has every reason to be confident. They've scored more than 5 runs in each of their previous 3 games. They just need to remember that. And, you know, one domino starts an avalanche. So Davis Wenzel stands at second base, and now Will Holland's up. These are talented hitters that now Chevalier really has to work his way around with the runner in scoring position.
They sure are. That first pitch is outside for a ball. Will Holland now up, 0 for 2 on the day. Blew out in the first, and in the third, he struck out. That next pitch is called high for a ball. 0 for 2 on the day is Holland. Here in the top of the fifth, 1 out with a man at second. And the 2-0 pitch. Grounded over to the third baseman. Wenzel did not advance. Throws on to first just in time for the out. Darren Smith took his sweet old time.
Had every reason to take his time. I mean, he had to look back Wenzel a little bit. And Will Holland, very fast, but I guess Smith has plenty of confidence in his own arm, able to laser the ball over there and beat one of the faster guys on the Harbor Hawks, at the very least, amongst the fastest in the league, too.
Matt Barefoot now up. 1 for 1 on the day as he was hit by a pitch last time in the first inning. Responsible for one of the 2 hits for the Harbor Hawks is man over at second, and Davis Wenzel responsible for the second. 0-1 count is Down for Matthew Barefoot, trying to drive a run in, trying to break this scoreless effort today so far by the Harbor Hawks. The 1-0 pitch. Sent foul. The TrackMan sensor in the field of play here in Cotuit, just similar to Bourne. But Cotuit has not been hit yet, as Bourne has taken some rough hits to their TrackMan sensors so far this year. Hyannis, though, is out of the field of play, and that's pretty smart.
I'd say so. The organization doing a good job protecting their assets.
1-2 pitches. Sent foul.
I mean, it costs upwards of $15,000 to put a TrackMan at a field, and every field on the Cape has one, but some are a bit less protected than others.
An 0-2 count. Pitches in. That is called high for a ball there. Brought down the zone was Wolford, but the home plate umpire did not offer. Counts now at 1-2. 2 outs in the top of the fifth. 4-0 Cotuit. And the 1-2 pitch. Fouled off right about the same spot. Still a 1-2 count to Matthew Barefoot. Two outs in the top of the fifth. Man over at second, and Davis Wenzel, 4-0 Cotuit. Big spot here for the Harbor Hawks, trying to get their first run on the evening. The 1-2 pitch. That is sent out to the gap and will get down for the first time today. The Harbor Hawks do score. A diving effort by Peyton Berg, just unable to get it. Matthew Barefoot has to go back to second. And a 2-out double here for the Harbor Hawks. Plates their first run. It's now 4-1 Cotuit.
Another nice piece from Matthew Barefoot. He just does everything. I mean, he legs out a double right there, and Peyton Burdick going airborne to try and stop it. Maybe came about an inch away from actually making a highlight reel play out in left center field, but unable to come up with the grab. And Matthew Barefoot just continuing to show this entire league why he is quite easily, if you're going to make the argument, the best hitter.
Seth Gray now up. And the first pitch in for a strike. Inside low. Quickly down the count 0-1 is Seth Gray. Up after him is Todd Lott. And the 0-1 pitch. Sent a laser right over to the first baseman. He's able to catch it. And now Cotuit will be up in the bottom of the fifth. The score is 4-1. We'll be right back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
We're back here in Lowell Park. A nice crowd filing in after everyone gets out of work. A 5 o'clock first pitch. Now around 6:17, the game flying down. We're in the bottom of the fifth inning. Cotuit out front 4-1 on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Zach Cohn's still in the game, today's starter. Peyton Burdick at the plate, the first pitch. Check swing. And the home plate umpire, Sparky Burns, rings him up. 0-1 count on the Wright State Warrior. Coming up after him in the 3 spot, Thomas Dillard, and in the 4 spot, Michael Salvatore. Zach Cohn out for inning number 5. Deals ball 1, and it's inside, and it nicks off of Peyton Burdick's hand, so now he walks down to first base. First trip onto the base paths today for Peyton Burdick. Nobody down here in the bottom of the 5th, and a man on first base. Hyannis trailing by 3 runs from Lowell Park. The final game of the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series underway here. Now Thomas Dillard, the switch hitter, steps up to the left side of the plate. Infield at double play depth. The righty Cone kicks and fires. Called strike over the outer half. Nice tailing little fastball. The Central Michigan Chippewa jumps ahead in the count 0-1.
Cone trying to have his 3rd straight inning of his really solid work after letting up those 4 runs in the 2nd.
Those are the only blip on his radar right now, but a big one to say the least. Cone to the set, taking his time on the 0-1. Actually, comes off the rubber now. Not quite on the same page with his catcher, Kyle Wilkie. Now they are, though. The pitch. Called strike 2 over the outer half of the plate. Thomas Dillard, 1 more strike away from his 3rd strikeout of the day. He's currently 0 for 2. Plenty of sunlight left to go around here at Lowell Park. Field with no lights. One of several on the Cape without lights. Snap throw over to first. Back over, Peyton Burdick. Avoids the tag right there from the first baseman, Seth Gray. The switch hitting Dillard back at the left side. The righty Cone kicks and fires. The 0-2 hacked on and fouled off the chest protector of Kyle Wilkie.
That was definitely a hit and run situation there. I don't think Dillard would have swung at it, knowing that or not knowing that guy would have gone over.
No, yeah. And it almost worked right there, but Zach Cone coming with a little bit of an off-speed offering there completely messed up Dillard's timing, as he's been coming in around 93 to 94 with this fastball today. And that delivery looked exactly the same as the others, as now Cone kicks and fires the 0-2, but after he kicks, he steps off the rubber again, keeping his eye on Peyton Burdick. He has a 1-step lead off of first base, held on by a Wright State teammate, Seth Gray, the 0-2. Ball 1, high and outside. First ball of the count right there to Thomas Dillard. 1-2 now the count. Hyannis down 4-1 in Game 6 of the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series. Not the start they wanted. The 1-2. Ball 2, low and away. Count now advances to 2 balls, 2 strikes. And I mentioned that's not the start they wanted because Hyannis needed to win this game by a very, very large margin if they wanted to take the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series. As Cone steps off again. You look at how the series stands right now. Cotuit with a 3-2 lead. And there are several tiebreakers, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that determine who will win the series if it ends in a 3-3 tie. The 2-2. Ball 3. Low and outside. Bounces off the dirt right in front of Kyle Wilkie, who chests it up and gets it back out to his right-hander. Now a loaded count. Thomas Dillard working back from a 2-strike count to get 3 balls and 2 strikes. Still nobody down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Hyannis down by 3 runs. Zach Cone, today's starter, still in the game. Steps off the rubber briefly. He's coming near the end of his outing, though. He's thrown 80 pitches.
Pretty tying run from Cone, probably not used to it.
I mean, he's only gotten 3 starts, or about 4 starts now in the entire calendar year. Only a handful at Central Michigan. The 3-2. Ball 4. Pitch number 81 puts the second man on base of the inning. Runners on first and second. Nobody away here in the bottom of the 5th. Harbor Hawks down 4-1 against the Kettleers.
Cone here really is just to bear down. After the past 2 innings, he's pitched really well here. Just try to get a ground ball, get a double play, maybe let that guy move over. Just settle down and just get back to the way you pitch in those 2 innings that you really pitched well, just to keep this at a 4-1 game, because Harbor Hawks, the way they've been batting lately, could come back from this, absolutely.
Michael Salvatore at the right side of the plate now. Infield, definitely a double play depth, Robert, playing to your suggestion there, although Davis Wenzel is in on the grass, and now Seth Gray, the Wright State first baseman, in on the grass as Salvatore squares bunt, and Cone comes off the mound down the first base line, throws over to Seth Gray to get out number 1. Both other runners advance station to station, so now there are runners on second and third and 1 away in the bottom of the 5th. Cotuit trying to build on a 4-1 lead.
They sure are there, and a good bunt there by Salvatore. being able to induce that sacrifice bunt to be able to move those guys over. Chad Gaspin now going to come out prior relief of Cohn's duties today.
The Harbor Hawks manager stepping out to the mound right now. A long day for Zach Cohn, but a productive one for Zach Cohn, despite a tough fourth inning where he allowed 3 walks and 2 hits to allow 4 runs to come across the plate for the Kettleers. He has been rock solid otherwise. Now Chad Gaspin still out there on the mound, has yet to take the ball from Zach Cohn, but in comes a reliever for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. It is Michigan State right-hander Mike Mockma coming in to grab the ball from his Michigan counterpart in Zach Cohn, who plays his ball at Central Michigan. And the righty coming off the mound right now, Mike Mockma, to get warmed up for Hyannis. We'll have his numbers and the final line on Cohn in just a moment after a quick break here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Back to Chad Gaspin making all the right moves on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Chad Gaspin making a move on the mound. Zach Cohn guided Hyannis through 4 1/3 innings of work, but now Mike Mockma out there to face off against Mike Solia with runners on second and third. The first pitch cut on and roped right down the right field line through for a base hit. Runner coming in to score, Peyton Burdick. Another one held up at third base. Thomas Dillard staying put after getting the hold sign from Mike Roberts. Solia squares up around first base, stops up there, and Hyannis now trails by 4 runs. 5-1 the score. Cotuit out front, 1 man down here in the bottom of the 5th.
Mockma leaving a pitch up there. That run's going to be charged, though, to Zach Cohn on a struggling day today. Mockma, they're just leaving that pitch up. Totally taking advantage of it.
And now Brady Smith looking to get his second base knock of the day. That was the first of the day for Mike Solia. Brady, 1 for 1 with a walk, came around to score in a 4-run bottom of the 2nd. Time called by the home plate umpire, Sparky Burns. So resetting the infield now, there's a runner on third and there's a runner on first base. The runner on third, Thomas Dillard, reached with a walk, the second batter of the inning. Mike Mockma on the mound, the first pitch. A ball low and away to Brady Smith. Mockma's been having a bit of a rough summer, just trying to work some things out now. 1-1 his record, 11.45 his ERA in 6 appearances and 2 starts. Pitched 11 innings, struck out 6, allowed 21 hits. The righty kicks and deals the pitch. Ball 2, high and outside. Brady Smith standing at the right side of the plate. Davis Wenzel chatting up Thomas Dillard over at third base. Dillard with a 2-step lead. Tolia likewise across the infield. Still double play depth from the Harbor Hawks. The 2-0. Called a strike over the outer half. Fastball from Mike Mockma, spots up. Outfielders out and left, playing back, at least in Matt Barefoot. Center fielder Eric Rivera playing pretty back too, but Trevor Hauber a bit in more. Still decently deep though. Snap throw back over to first. Seth Gray applies the tag to Mike Solia, but the UCLA Bruin slides in safe head first. Brady North, his first base coach, comes over for a word. And now Burns dusts off home plate. So the Harbor Hawks trail 5-1. That earned run, like you mentioned, Rob, being charged to Zach Cohn after 4 1/3 innings of work. Now Machma to the set. 1-1. Nicked foul behind home on the swing. Grady Smith brings the count now actually to 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was the 2-1 pitch. So now 4 runs came to pass in Cohn's time on the mound. He now has 5 earned runs to his bill, but his tab's still open. Thomas Dillard on third base is the responsibility of the right-hander from Central Michigan. The 2-2. Breaking ball called strike 3. Nasty breaking offering right there from Machma. His first strikeout of the game, and there's 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th.
A nasty pitch there by Machma, really getting Smith really off balance. Bends his knees a little bit there. Wasn't expecting that pitch.
Duke Ellis now at the left side of the plate against the righty Machma. Infield still playing towards double play depth. Davis Wenzel shaded in as Ellis shows bunt and takes for strike 1 on the pitch from Machma. Got 2 big boys out there right now. Machma standing at 6'7", 240 pounds. Duke Ellis a shade under that at 6'5", 220. And now Machma throws back over to first base, holding on Solia, who again comes in around 6'5", 220 himself. So we're at no loss for size here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. The Hawks are just at a loss for runs. 5-1 the score in favor of Cotuit, the 0-1. Call it a strike over the outer half. Nice breaking pitch from Machma, spotting up. And now it's an 0-2 count. Duke Ellis has a walk and a ground out today, so he's 0 for 1. Looking for his first knock, trying to extend a 4-run edge for his ball club. Mike Roberts giving the signs over from the third base coaching box. And now Machma to the set. Here's the 0-2. Cut on and nicked foul. That one almost getting into the Kettleers dugout. But it goes just past Corey Wood, who waits in the on-deck circle and takes a couple swings. Has a white batting donut over his bat. Now Machma with the 0-2. First a throw over to first base. That gets away from Seth Gray. Thomas Dillard trots in to score from third. Tolia advances to second base right in front of the throw from Seth Gray. The light getting in his eyes and a low throw bounces away from him from Mike Machma. And Hyannis is down 5 runs now, 6-1 here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Really the unthinkable there when you throw over to first base or second base or even third base. You know, the pitcher is expected to be able to throw it right over to the guy. And he just didn't do that as the ball went way off there. Seth Gray, no chance to be able to catch it.
Second error of the day for the Harbor Hawks. Mike Machma left to regroup. 0-2 the count on Duke Ellis. Lefty at the plate, the righty on the mound. Runner on second and the pitch. Cut on and roped out into left field. It dinks in shallow for a base hit. Mike Roberts waves home Tolia. He'll score easily. Davis Wenzel cuts off the throw. Tolia sliding in safely. And that is a 2-out RBI single for Duke Ellis on a 2-strike count. And now Hyannis trails 7-1 in the bottom of the 5th.
Things getting a little out of control here in Cotuit. Now the crowd's really starting to get into the game. Harbor Hawks are starting to get frustrated. They got to keep their composure here. Take a deep breath, trying to get this out and be able to get to bat in the 6th. Try to come back.
It'll be a long comeback trail for Hyannis. They came in with hopes of snatching the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series from the Kettleers today, but it's looking more and more unlikely. Runner goes on the pitch. It's a ball, snap throw over, and the runner called safe as the tag applied just a hair late by Will Holland on the bouncing throw from the backstop in Kyle Wilkie. That throw just bouncing off the back edge of the mound, so it took a lot off of the throw. And now Duke Ellis stands on second base with a steal. Pitch actually called a strike, so now it's an 0-1 count on Corey Wood. Struck out looking at his last plate appearance, the 0-1. Cut on, popped up over towards the left side of the infield, out towards shallow center field. The center fielder, Rivera, calls off everybody else, makes the catch as Will Holland ran out from shortstop to try and track down the ball. So Hyannis surrenders another pair of runs in this inning on a pair of hits and a walk, also a hit by pitch, one error too. So now Hyannis trails 7-1 going into the top of the 6th inning, where Todd Lott, Trevor Hauber, and Eric Rivera will do their darndest to cut into the deficit. You're listening to baseball here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Don't go anywhere.
Magic Works Media copyright.
Back at it here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. He's Robert Marcello. I'm Chris Lucey, and the Harbor Hawks trail 7-1 against the Cotuit Kettleers here from Lowell Park. Todd Lott, Trevor Hauber, and Eric Rivera do up the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, looking to cut into a massive deficit here from Cotuit. Final game between these two ball clubs of the regular season. Luke Chevalier still on the mound as he deals a first pitch ball low and away. 1-0 now the count on Todd Lott. He's 0 for 2 today. Set and the pitch. Breaking ball. Gets away from Chevalier. Bounces over the outer half of the plate. Count now 2-0. Infield, outfield pretty much straight away. The pitch. Ball 3 low and away. Albeit there's actually now a shift placed on Todd Lott as a second baseman has retreated from his place at second, the 3-0. Called a strikeout and outside. High and outside. Count now 3-1 on the straight ball from Chevalier. Second baseman on the opposite side of second, the 3-1. Cut on and nicked foul. That one getting out of play down the right field line. Count now 3-2 on the 91-mile-per-hour offering from Chevalier. He's only 76 pitches into his evening and cruising through 6. Only allowed 1 to the Harbor Hawks, while his ball club spotted him 7. As the 3-2 rips across the zone for strike 3, and Todd Lott spins in disgust as he tries to start walking his way down the first base line. 1 away in the top of the 6th inning. Trevor Hauber coming to the plate.
Todd Lott definitely doesn't like that pitch today, and you could say that a lot from either side today, as it's been a really frustrating day for both sides with the strike zone.
Trevor Hauber taking strike 1 over the outer half, standing at the left side against the righty out of Northern State. Hauber playing his college ball at Arizona State University. He's 0 for 2 and takes strike 2 over the outer half. Same pitch, same result. And now Hauber has to defend. Trevor trying to rekindle the magic here, the 0-2. Ball 1 high and outside on the fastball. Hauber has 1 homer to his record on the Cape League summer, and it came right here against Cotuit on July 15th. The 1-2. Called a ball over the outer half. 2-2 the count. June 15th, excuse me. Trevor Hauber hitting it out right over to right field. It was a moonshot into the woods that dot Lowell Park. Now the 2-2. Hacked on and served foul into the stands down the left field line. Those stands packed with fans straight out of work, likely to watch this game that got off to a 5 o'clock start. 6:36 on your watch right now, the 2-2. Called ball 3 on the fastball from the sidewinding Chevalier. Full count. Now the payoff pitch. Cut on, grounded over towards second base. Nice backhand stab from Wood, who throws across his body onto second base to get Trevor Hauber for out number 2.
Hauber, as you said, definitely with some power there, just unable to really get any power on that pitch as it grounded right into the dirt.
He needed to lift that one up just a little bit to get it out of the outstretched glove of Wood. But the rangy middle infielder from Coastal Carolina makes the play. 2 away here in the top of the 6th inning. Hyannis down 7-1 with Eric Rivera stepping up to the plate. He's at the right side. The righty Chevalier deals a swing and strike one at 89 miles per hour. Infield pretty much playing straight away right now, albeit the third baseman Smith a bit in towards the grass. The 0-1. Cut on, popped up over towards the left side of the infield. Salvatore, the shortstop, charging out into the outfield, and he's called off by the center fielder Burdick, who makes the grab for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down here in the top of the 6th inning. No score for the Harbor Hawks, but they trail 7-1. And now we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, where the bottom and top of the Kettleers order is due up. Garrett Woolforth, Will Robertson, and Peyton Burdick to come to the plate when we get back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's Voices of the Hawks, Rob Marcello and Chris Lucey.
Back at it here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. He's Robert Marcello. I'm Chris Lucey. Bottom of the order, 2 up right now for the Kettleers. Garrett Woolforth stepping up to the plate. He's 1 for 2 today, followed up by Will Robertson and Peyton Burdick, the 1 and 2 hitters. Kettleers fans starting to get animated. Their ball club leads 7-1, and they want Woolforth to grab another one. He had a 2 RBI double in the bottom of the 2nd as he steps up to the left side of the plate against the righty Mike Mockma. The righty from Michigan State to the set, and the pitch. Cut on, popped up high in the air down the third base line. Davis Wenzel and Kyle Wilkie converge on the ball, but the third baseman calls off the catcher, makes the catch down the third base line, and there's one away to start things off in the bottom of the 6th.
Mockman coming back on the mound here for his 2nd inning of work. Kind of a clean inning because the last time he was on, there was guys on base and there was just 1 out. Settled down here, being able to get that first pitch out.
Yeah, a run came across in Mockma's inning. 2 to be exact, actually, but none of them were charged to him, as 1 was an unearned run and 1 was on the bill of Zach Cohn. And now Mockma sets and fires a pitch that is a called strike over the inner half of the plate to Will Robertson. The Creighton right fielder also with the 2 RBI double in this game. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Mockman to the set. And the 0-1 pitch. Cut on and roped right into the glove of Seth Gray. It bounces off of his leather. Mike Mockma covering first base, and the recovery from Taylor Garris. He throws on to first, and that is out number 2 here in the bottom of the 6th. A wicked play on that right side.
A great play there by Taylor Garris. Being able to make up with Seth Gray, trying to make a great play over at first, trying to get on its backhand. That is great heads-up defense there.
And look at me saying wicked, a Connecticut kid. All these Massachusetts people are just starting to influence me as I catch myself from saying something I shouldn't. Robert having a good laugh over there.
Boy.
Peyton Burdick trying to find a hit for the Kettleers, down 7-1, the first pitch. Called a strike over the outer half of the plate. 7-1 the score. Cotuit out front, but we're still having fun down here on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Mockma heading the count 0-1 to Burdick. The next pitch. Check swing. And a called strike by Sparky Burns behind home plate. 2 men down the bottom of the 6th. 0-2 count on Peyton Burdick. Still looking for his first hit today. 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch, but came around to score. And now Makma setting up the 0-2 pitch. Here it comes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A little bit of cheddar coming in at 89 miles per hour. Gets Peyton Burdick down swinging for the second time of the game. Chalk came up to an 0 for 3 now, and now the Harbor Hawks come up in the top of the 7th, bringing their 8, 9, and 1 hitters in the form of Kyle Wilkie, Taylor Garris, and Davis Wenzel. Harbor Hawks trail by 6 runs, but are trying to claw their way back into this one. Stick around. You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
You're listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Now back to today's voice of the Hawks, Chris Lucey.
Hyannis bringing the bottom and top of their order to the plate here in the top of the 7th inning. Kyle Wilkie, Taylor Garris, and Davis Wenzel due up. Hyannis trailing by 6 runs, though, 7-1 as things get started. And Luke Chevalier closes up his day. Ryan Leffner in now to pitch for the Kettleers. 1-0 record, 5.62 ERA, 9 games, 16 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts, but 16 hits allowed. Now Kyle Wilkie comes to the right side of the plate, and the righty kicks and deals. Ball 1 low and away. 1-0 the count. The righty from St. Louis missing the zone. Low set, kick and fire. Count now 2-0. Fastball missing high and outside. Overall, a phenomenal day for Luke Chevalier. 6 innings pitched. Only allowed 1 run on 3 hits. 2-0. Call it a strike over the outer half. Cal Wilkie watches one go by. Today's catcher 0 for 2. Plays his college ball down at Clemson. Chevalier from Northern State. 4 strikeouts, only 1 walk. The 2-1. Cut on and nibbled foul down the third base line. That one barely rolling away from the catcher, Wolforth. The backstop for Cotuit. Hasn't played much for the Kettleers early in this season. In fact, didn't even start with a roster spot. But finally was able to fight his way on. This is now his 2nd game for the club, the 2-2. Cut on and nicked off of Wolforth's foot. 2-2 remains the count. Today's backstop, a teammate of Parker Towns, a Harbor Hawk who pitched yesterday. Yesterday, of course, a big 12-5 win against the Chatham A's, and also an interesting 6-5 win against the Wareham Gatemen. That game was played at the start from 1 out in the 7th inning. The set and the 2-2. Cut on and roped out over the outstretched glove of the shortstop Salvatore and threw for a base hit to left center field. Cal Wilkie stops around first base with his first hit of the day. And nobody out in the top of the 7th inning. 1 man on for the Harbor Hawks, trying to fight their way out of a 7-1 deficit here on the Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Ryan Leffner, first batter he faces, gives up a hit. Now Taylor Garris comes up to the right side of the plate looking for one himself. He's 0 for 2 so far today. Another low set from the righty on the mound. Now he'll be working from the stretch. Here comes the pitch. Check swing from Garris. He's rung up by the home plate umpire, Sparky Burns. 0-1 the count. Great name for an umpire, Sparky Burns. Seems like a classic baseball name as Kyle Wilkie takes a 3-step lead off of first base, held on by Mike Zolia. Big lead for the catcher. Not much of a base stealer this year, the 0-1. Call it a strike over the outer half. Count now 0-2. Hyannis off to a tough start here. 7-1 the score. Top of the 7th inning. Nobody down yet. And an 0-2 count on Taylor Garris. Lefner to a low set and the pitch. Cut on, and that one dribbled down the third base line. Lefner comes off the mound to try and get it, see if it would go foul, but it stays fair by a long shot. And Taylor Garris hustles his way down to first base with an infield hit. Kyle Wilkie advances to second. And that's 2 base hits to start off the top of the 7th inning. Hyannis trailing by 6 runs, but starting to get a little something going against the new pitcher in Lefner. And I mentioned earlier in this inning that you see Wilkie out there, not much of a base stealer. He's actually not all that shabby on the Cape League season so far. He's swiped 3 bags. Hasn't really gone much on the pitches, really, as he's gotten a couple opportunities on bouncing balls to swipe bags. But still sneakily one of the better base stealers on the Harbor Hawks, as now he stands on second, and there's another runner on first. Davis Wenzel at the plate. He's at the right side, and the pitch. Bouncer in the dirt. Nice block right there from Wolforth. Count 1-0. Davis with a double in his last at-bat. Came around to score on another RBI double for Matt Barefoot. That was the only run of the Harbor Hawks game. They scored it in the top of the 5th inning. Top of the 7th now. Still a 6-run deficit. And the 1-0 misses inside for ball 2. Another big shift on for Davis Wenzel. Corey Wood over on the opposite side of the second base bag. And now Zolia, the first baseman, has to kind of cover both second and first base's area down on the right side of the infield. 3 men over on the left side of the infield trying to ground out Davis Wenzel, the 2-0. Breaking ball for a strike over the outer half. Count now 2-1 on the 80-mile-per-hour offering from Lefner. The righty from St. Louis gets his way back into a 2-1 count. Davis Wenzel wiggles his bat through the zone. Lefner looks back the runner at second and deals. Bouncing ball cut on and missed by Wenzel. Count now 2-2. Wolforth out from behind home plate in a hurry to make sure Kyle Wilkie stays put over at second base. And I mentioned he didn't even start the season with a roster spot. Wolforth started the season for the Kettleers as their bullpen catcher. And that's saying a lot for a guy coming out of Dallas Baptist University, a Division I program playing over in the Valley Conference. The 2-2. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. First out of the 7th inning for the Harbor Hawks comes to Davis Wenzel by way of the K. Still runners on first and second, but the Harbor Hawks not doing themselves any favor, trying to come back from a 7-1 deficit here at Lowell Park. Now Will Holland up to the plate. 0 for 3 coming into this plate appearance, but with a golden opportunity to help Harbor Hawks bats come alive. Runners on first and second, only 1 away. As now the infield returns to normal, albeit middle infielders are shaded a bit up the middle to hold on the runner and Wilkie. Holland's still yet to see a pitch. He's at the right side of the plate. Lefner to a low set once again. Looks back the runner at second and Wilkie and deals. Called a ball low and outside. A little breaking offering coming across the outer half at 81 miles per hour, but too low for Burns' liking. So it was a long road to getting behind home plate today for Wolforth. He had to wait for his opportunity and wait a good deal of time as the 1-0 comes. And it's hacked on and nibbled foul. off the foot of the batter in Holland. 1-1 now the count. Wolforth came up here to the Cape just for the sole fact that he wanted a chance to maybe crack the Cavaliers roster if he was lucky enough, but B, he really just wanted to work on his catching with pitching coach Jerry Weinstein. So into the bullpen he went, and he had Weinstein really help him hammer out the defensive side of the game. Lefner to the set, looks back the runner at second, and here comes the 1-1. Hacked on, nicked off the screen behind home plate. Count now 1-2. And you wait for your opportunity. Just a couple of days ago, Eric Jones was released by the Cavaliers. So they already had a catcher with some big-time college baseball experience sitting out in their bullpen, getting their pitchers loose. Need another catcher? Look no further. Wolforth jumped at the opportunity as the 1-2 is cut on and grounded over towards the left side. That one goes to the shortstop, who eats the ball rather than throwing it over. Salvatore holding on to the ball. And now the bases are juiced. An infield hit for Will Holland loads him up, only one away in the top of the seventh. Hyannis still trails by 6 runs. It's 7-1 Cotuit. But Matt Barefoot coming to the plate with a big opportunity to possibly punch Hyannis back into this game. The infield hit, the first hit of the day for Will Holland. Shot came up to 1 for 4. Matt Barefoot, 2 for 2 with a hit by pitch. One of them a 2 RBI double. As the first pitch misses low and away for ball 1. And Matt Barefoot, one of the better hitters in recent memory for Harbor Hawks fans. Those 2 hits today extended his hitting streak to 22 games. Now Lefner sets the 1-0 pitch. It comes, and Matt Barefoot swings over it for strike 1. 88 miles per hour in the dirt over on the right side. Completely dipped out of the strike zone as Barefoot offered at it. Bases loaded. Infielders playing at normal depth. The 1-1 bounces in the dirt on the other side of the plate for ball 2. Outfielders playing no doubles defense, pushed way back towards the warning tracks in both right, left, and center field. 2-1 now the count on Matt Barefoot, the Cape's hottest hitter. The 2-1. Ball 3, low and inside. Nowhere to put the Cape's batting average leader. Matt Barefoot surpassed Austin Shenton for the lead spot on the island just the other day. And now he has a 3-1 count as time called by Wolforth. Now everyone readjusting in the infield. Wolforth needed a new sign from the manager, Mike Roberts, who gives it to him. And now Lefner getting ready to set the 3-1 pitch. Here it goes. And it's ball 4. In comes a run for the Harbor Hawks, who now edge just a bit closer. 5 runs now the deficit as Kyle Wilkie touches home plate. A nice light little tap on the base. And the Harbor Hawks only trail 7-2, 1 away here in the top of the 7th inning. Matthew Barefoot just productive with legitimately anything he does for this Harbor Hawks ball club. And now a meeting of the minds on the mound. Pitching coach Jerry Weinstein out for a word with Ryan Lefner. The entire infield comes in for this one. Matthew Barefoot taking off his helmet down the first base line. Having a word with Seth Gray, talking a little bit of hitting. And for Seth, who hasn't had a hit yet today, 0 for 3, reached on an error in the top of the first inning. There are few people on this team that are more qualified to give advice than Matthew Barefoot, who has just absolutely lit up the Cape League, batting .396 coming into this game in 96 at-bats before today. And he's helped himself out a good deal today as well. Matt Barefoot still 2 for 2 with a pair of walks. Chalk Barefoot up now to 40 hits as Seth Gray swings over strike 1. Standing at the left side of the plate, Ryan Lefner with a nasty breaking pitch over the outer half. Base is still loaded for the first baseman out of Wright State. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Same pitch, same result. Swinging strike 2. Seth Gray takes off the helmet to adjust himself a little bit. And now he has to bear down in the 2-strike approach. 7-2 the score. Hyannis trying to get their way a bit closer. They've already played it a run this inning, the 0-2. Swing at a miss, strike 3 at another breaking pitch. A little bit more heat and a little more elevation, but Seth Gray fooled nonetheless. 2 away in the top of the 7th inning, and now Todd Lott coming to the plate. Todd, one of the big boppers for this Harbor Hawks ball club, tied for second in RBIs with 13. Matt Barefoot, of course, leading the team with 19. He stands on first. Over at second base is Will Holland. Taylor Garris standing on third. 7-2 the score. Hyannis trying to get their way back into this one with 2 down in the top of the 7th inning. Ryan Lefner trying to close the door for Cotuit. The pitch. Bouncer almost gets away from Wolforth, but the backstop picks it up. Make sure everybody stays put. Shade has pretty much engulfed the entire left side of the infield and most of the right side, too. No lights over Lowell Park. They got to get this one in. The 1-0. Hacked on and nicked off of Todd Lott's foot. The Ragin' Cajun, however, doesn't really show any pain. 1-1 now the count on the foul ball.
I'll be right back.
Shortstop Salvatore in his usual place as the 1-1 is clubbed over and sent right to Salvatore, who throws on to second to Corey Wood for out number 3 to get the force to end the top of the 7th inning. Hyannis strands 3 runners on base. Todd Lott ends the inning with a fielder's choice, and after 3 hits and a walk, the Harbor Hawks unable to get any closer than only a 5-run deficit. They played 1 run, but the score 7-2 as we now head to the bottom of the 7th inning where Thomas Dillard, Michael Salvatore, and Mike Tolia are due up here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
We're back here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Thomas Dillard set to lead off for the Kettleers out front 7-2 over Hyannis. Harbor Hawks stranded 3 runners on base in the previous inning, only able to scrape 1 run out of the whole thing. Mike Mockma back out for inning number 2. And the first pitch, he says, is cut on and cranked out towards right center field, but Eric Rivera is playing deep, so center fielder able to go into the gap only a couple steps over and make the catch for out number 1. Quick out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Thomas Dillard going down for the 3rd time of the day. Chalk him up to 0 for 3 with a walk. Michael Salvatore stepping up to the right side of the plate now. The switch hitting Dillard was hitting from the left side. Mike Mockma, the righty, to the set. Here's the pitch. Ball 1, high in sight. Almost as if it's bring your child to work day. I see a scout over to my left with his young daughter holding the radar gun, the 1-0. Strike 1. Nice little speed offering on the inside half of the plate. Count 1-1. 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The pitch. Breaking ball cut on and sent high and foul down the first base line. Seth Gray making his way towards it, but the first baseman has to stop and watch it fall beyond the fence. 1-2 now the count. Plenty of charm to be had here on the Cape. Young children with radar guns, one thing, but even older kids are allowed to come out and visit parents or relatives involved with the league. The 1-2. Bouncer gets away from the catcher, and Wilkie rolls back to the backstop. Count now 2-2. In fact, Mike Roberts has one of his children out on the Cape with him right now, the 15-year manager. His son, a notable baseball player in his time, two-time American League All-Star Mike Roberts, the 2-2, as the pitch is cut on and sent high in the air over towards short. Will Holland ranges back and makes the catch for out number 2 here in the bottom of the 7th. Mike Roberts, the father of the two-time All-Star in Brian Roberts, who was here earlier today. Still somewhere in the crowd enjoying this ball game. Mike, a two-time All-Star in 2005 and 7. More than 1,500 hits in a 14-year MLB career. More than 1,400 games played. 285 steals to go along with a 276 batting average. The next pitch, cut on and laced up into right center field by Michael Tolia, who stepped up to the left-hand side of the plate, the switch hitter. Cruising around first base and watches the relay throw come in. Now he squares up around first with a 2-out hit. Tolia now 2 for 4 on the day. Had a long discussion with Brian earlier today. So whatever the former major leaguer was telling him, probably working out for him. And now Brady Smith comes up to the right side of the plate, looking to drive him in and maybe drive Cotuit out front even further. It's certainly 7-2 Kettleers as the pitch from Machma floats over the outer half and low for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Light starting to die out here at Lowell Park. Machma to the set, the 1-0 pitch. Ball 2, high and tight. Fastball fails to spot up. Count 2-0. Brady is 1 for 2 today with a walk and a strikeout. Michael Tolia with the lead off at first base. Held on by Seth Gray. Infield at double play depth, looking for the force out with 2 down in the 7th. The pitch, cut on and grounded weakly over to third base. Davis Wenzel charging into the infield grass, throws across on the forehand stab, and that is the 7th inning after getting the out over to Seth Gray at first. So Cotuit strands 1 on 1 base knock by Mike Tolia. No runs score. It's 7-2 Cotuit, and now we head to the top of the 8th inning where Trevor Hauber, Eric Rivera, and Kyle Wilkie are due up here on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back here at Lowell Park on the Hyannis Harborhawks Digital Network, Trevor Hauber leading off for Hyannis. 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up. So Hauber followed by Eric Rivera and Kyle Wilkie. He takes strike 1 over the outer half of the plate. Standing at the left side, and we're underway. Ryan Lefner out for inning number 2. The 0-1. Ball 1, high and tight. Trevor's 0 for 3 today. Still searching for hit number 1. The 1-1. Looping, breaking ball for a strike. Count now 1-2. 7-2 your score right now. Cotuit out front of the Harborhawks. And the 1-2 pitch. Hacked on and nibbled off the first base line foul. That ball actually careening towards the screen just past Eric Rivera in the on-deck circle. The 1-2 pitch. Ball 2 high and outside. So steady at-bats have kind of led to steady production for Trevor Hauber, the 2-2. Cut on and nicked foul just off of the catcher. Wolforth taking it in stride, though, throws a new pearl out to his righty and Ryan Leffner, facing off against the left-handed hitting Hauber. Infield, outfield, pretty much straight away. Third baseman, though, in on the grass. First baseman Tolia playing the line, too. The 2-2. Cut on, that one grounded just down the line. Tolia only has to move a step over as Ryan Leffner comes off the mound to cover, gets the underhand throw from Tolia, and there's one away quickly here in the top of the 8th inning.
Hauber there with a kind of a roper down the first base side. There with the first baseman, able to catch it off his glove there and just throwing it over to the pitcher for the first out.
Robert Marcello, my broadcast partner. I'm Chris Lucey. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us. Eric Rivera at the right side of the plate. Here's the pitch. Cut on and grounded foul down the third base line. 0-1 now the count on the center fielder out of Florida Atlantic.
As you can see now, pretty much the whole infield is shaded just besides the first baseman. A little the second, but we just have this little patch of brightness right over here, right behind the Cotuit Cavaliers logo.
Eric Rivera calls time. Time on your clock right now, 7:08. We got off to a 5 o'clock start from Lowell Park. Now the 0-1. Called a ball, low and away. Count now 1-1. Eric has walked twice and flied out in this game. Chalk him up for 0 for 1. The 1-1. Cut on and sent high in the air out towards center field. This one chases in the center fielder Burdick, who makes the play in stride. And there's 2 away in the top of the 8th inning. Hyannis still down by 5 runs, 7-2 out here in Cotuit.
Rivera's hit there. Thought it was going to get down out in center field, but the center fielder being able to come on quickly enough and Peyton Burdick be able to catch the ball.
Cal Wilkie up to the plate. Has a chance at his second hit of the day right now. Chalk him up 1 for 3. Leffner to the set and the pitch from the windup. Bounces in front of home plate for ball 1. Barnstable Patriot Cup Series drawing to what could be an unfortunate close for the Harbor Hawks. 1-0. Called a strike over the outer half. Count 1-1. Infield pretty much now straight away. Outfield playing just a little bit back. The Harbor Hawks already trail the series 3-2. The 1-1. Called a ball high and outside. Count now 2-1 on the off-speed offering from Leffner. This Barnstable Patriot Cup Series, the last couple years going in Cotuit's favor almost every year as the 2-1 is swung over and grounded on a one-hop over to short. Salvatore fields forehand side, throws across the diamond, and the throw drags Mike Tolia off of first base. So Kyle Wilkie reaches with an infield hit. Chalk that up as the second hit of the day for Kyle Wilkie. 2 for 2 on the afternoon. And now Hyannis is in business here in the top of the 8th inning. 1 man on. And Taylor Garris stepping up to the plate for Hyannis. And the official score corrects me now after initially ruling it a hit. It's chalked up as an error as Taylor Garris swings at the first pitch and misses for strike 1. Error on the shortstop, E6. Kyle Wilkie out there with that. Now he's taking a 2-step lead off of first base. Ryan Leffner to the set, the 0-1. Breaking ball for a strike. Comes from the outer half of the plate and settles right in on the hands of Garris. 0 for 2. 0-2 on the board right now. Garris is 1 for 3 today with a single. 7-2 the score. Cotuit out front. 2 men down in the 8th inning. The pitch. Hacked on and missed for strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Taylor Garris. And Hyannis strands a man on first base. No hits and an error. No runs across the plate for the Harbor Hawks just now. 7-2 your score. Now we go to the bottom of the 8th where Cotuit looks for nothing more really than insurance at this point. Duke Ellis, Corey Wood, and Garrett Wolforth to come to the plate when we return on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back inside Lowell Park here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Wave goodbye to Mike Mockma after 2 2/3 innings pitched, and say hello to Wes Engel. 2.38 ERA on the season in 8 games, 11 1/3 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, and 12 walks in that time. I'm Chris Lucey alongside Robert Marcello. 2 2/3 innings, as we mentioned, from Mike Mockma. 3 hits allowed, 1 run unearned on his part, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. And the Harbor Hawks trying to keep themselves in a 7-2 game that the Kettleers are winning in what is the final game of the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series. Leading off this inning for the Kettleers, Duke Ellis, who's coming up to the plate right now. He's a lefty coming against another lefty in Wes Engel. Corey Wood and Garrett Wolforth to follow, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Kettleers. Not much light left over Lowell Park as we're getting close to 7:15. No lights over this ballpark, period, so the Harbor Hawks will have to fit this one in a hurry. Game 6 of the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series not going the way the Harbor Hawks needed it to go if they were going to take the Barnstable Patriot Cup for the first time since 2015, as the pitch is cut on and fouled off from Wes Engel. He and Duke Ellis are underway now. Duke 1 for 2 today with an RBI single and a walk. He's at the left side against the lefty out of Texas State. Duke playing his college baseball down at the University of Texas at Austin. West coming to the set. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball high in sight for ball 1.
That breaking pitch is not dipping down in time as it stayed way up.
Yeah, almost knocked Ellis right in the noggin, but he's able to get out of the way. Infield straight away, outfield likewise. The 1-1 from Engel. Called a strike over the outer half. Another breaking ball. That one getting the bite he was looking for. Count now 1-2. Harbor Hawks trailing by 5 runs here. Nobody down in the bottom of the 8th inning. Wes Engel out for his first inning of work. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ball 2 low and away. Fastball misses its spot. 2-2 now the count. Duke, part of a Texas team that made its first College World Series appearance since 2014 this season. And now he waits for the 2-2 pitch. Hacked on and nicked foul behind home. Count now 2-2. And that appearance in Omaha for the Texas Longhorns assured that every recruiting class taken in by the legendary Augie Garrido, former Texas Longhorn coach, had made it to Omaha at least once in their time with the ball club. The 2-2. Hacked on and hit on a line out towards left field. This one's chasing Matt Barefoot back to the wall, but the left fielder makes the catch a step in front of the track for out number 1. And that's the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. Hyannis still behind 7-2 out here in Cotuit. Now Corey Wood coming up to the plate.
Nice job there by Matthew Barefoot. Knowing that ball was going to come to him, just backed up a couple of steps. Didn't have to hurt himself to try to go get the ball. He was able to catch it.
Matthew Barefoot making it look easy out here in Cape Cod. He's batting .408 on the season. Wood at the left side of the plate, the lefty angle with the first pitch, which is cut on and sent out towards the left center field gap. Again, this one's chasing Eric Rivera to the hole, who dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Jay Dion clenches his fist out in left field. The umpire making the call, and Eric Rivera with a circus catch for the second out of the bottom of the 8th inning.
Eric Rivera's speed really showing there. I thought that was easily going to get down. An acrobatic play by Eric Rivera.
2 away here in the bottom of the 8th. 7-2 your score. Cotuit out front, but a little charge of life from the center fielder out of Florida Atlantic. And now Garrett Wolforth up to the plate. He's 1 for 3 today. had himself an RBI double in his first plate appearance. It was the first hit of the summer for Wilforth. Now he looks for the second. The pitch from Engel, high and outside. Count 1-0. Wilforth, a promoted bullpen catcher, plays his college baseball, Dallas Baptist University, though, so certainly no slouch. The 1-0. Called a ball low and away. Count 2-0. Got his first hit of the summer. A long summer out here catching bullpens for all the Kettleers as Jerry Weinstein, the pitching coach for the Kettleers, just gave Wilforth instruction on the finer points of catching. Now the 2-0. Cut on and sent foul behind home. Count now 2-1. The connection with Weinstein, the pitching coach for the Kettleers, a family one for Wilforth. Wilforth's father and Jerry Weinstein had known each other for several years, dating way back to when Wilforth's father played down at Stephen A. Austin. The 2-1. Cut on and sent high in the air out towards the right field line. Seth Gray, the first baseman, actually calls everybody off as that ball falls in the infield, and that is the third out of the 8th inning. 3 up and 3 down for the Kettleers here in the bottom frame of the 8th. And we go to last licks for the Harbor Hawks in the top of the 9th inning. Hyannis sends the top of its order to the plate in Davis Wenzel, Will Holland, and Matt Barefoot to try and shut this game, or bring this game, I should say, into another frame. 7-2 your score. We'll be back after a quick break here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Back at it here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. Alongside Robert Marcello, I'm Chris Lucey. A loud cheer erupting from the Kettleers faithful here as the Kettleers are coming down the stretch of what could be a 7-2 win. Davis Wenzel up to the plate, takes ball 1 off the hand of Ryan Lefner here in the top of the 9th inning, trying to shut down this game. 7-2 again your score. Kettleers out front of the Harbor Hawks. 1-0 the count on Wenzel. Lefner to the set and the pitch. Cut on and missed for strike 1. Davis has struck out twice today, but also with a double. A fly out in the 3rd inning makes him 1 for 4. The 1-1. Cut on and fouled right off his back shin. Wenzel will need a minute to walk this one off. He does so down the first base line. Wenzel will have to come back into the box to play it off a 1-2 count. Not the game the Harbor Hawks were hoping for in Game 6 of the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series. Coming into this game down 3-2. Hyannis would have needed a 9-run win to come away with the series, but it's not going to happen. The Harbor Hawks will again fall for the 3rd consecutive year in the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series unless they are able to mount a miraculous comeback here in the top of the 9th inning. 1-2 now the count on Davis Wenzel, who's back in the batter's box after needing to walk off a foul off his foot. Ryan Lefner to the set. He deals from the windup. Hack and a miss. Strike 3 for Davis Wenzel. He goes down swinging for the 3rd time today. 1 away in the top of the 9th, and Will Holland coming to bat. The shortstop out of Auburn today is 1 for 4, had a single in his previous plate appearance. steps up to the right-hand side against the righty Lefner. Luke Chevalier came on to start this game, and Lefner to finish it off, I guess. 6 innings from Chevalier, and this now Lefner's third. The pitch. Ball 1 high and outside. Changeup. Not quite getting the depth that Lefner or his catcher Woolforth were hoping for. The 1-0. Hacked on and roped out towards the right center field gap. This one chasing Burdick and Robertson back to the wall, and it bounces in front of the wall and over the fence in right center field. A ground rule double for Will Holland with one man down here in the top of the 9th.
Good piece there by Holland, being able to shoot it out to right center field, being able to now get it over the wall. Having a pretty hot hitter in Matthew Barefoot now at the plate. Start kind of the trend going as they're down by 5 runs.
Matthew Barefoot raising his average by well over 10 points in this game, now sitting at .408 on the Cape League season. He's 3 for 3 today with a hit by pitch, 2 for 2 today with a hit by pitch and a walk. The first pitch, called a ball high and outside, count 1-0. Will Holland stands on second base with a 1-out double that hopped over the fence out in right center field. 7-2 the score, Cotuit leading Hyannis. Seth Gray waiting on deck. 1-0 count on the Cape's hottest hitter. And the next pitch is ball 2, low and inside. Nice block from behind home by Woolforth. Jerry Weinstein, the bullpen coach and pitching coach for the Kettleers, coaching him up all season long. He was a bullpen catcher, Woolforth was, for most of the campaign. The 2-0. Hacked on and another rope out towards center field. Peyton Burdick coming on, but it dinks right in front of him for a base hit. Will Holland stops over at third base, getting the hold sign from Chad Gassman. Matt Barefoot, with his third hit of the day, cruises into first base, takes a nice turn, but stops up there. And there are runners on the corners, only one down here in the top of the 9th inning. Hyannis trailing by 5 runs, but doing their darndest to chip away.
Good piece there by Matthew Barefoot, being able to hit it out into low center field. Holland unable to come home, though. But good to really start the trend going now.
Mike Roberts, the Kettleers manager, on the top step of the dugout. He has some arms getting loose out in the Cotuit bullpen. 1 away here in the top of the 9th. Runners on first and third. Ryan Lefner in his 3rd inning of work. Not quite laboring right now, but he's just given up consecutive hits after striking out the first batter of the inning in Davis Wenzel. Now Lefner to the set. He steps off the rubber. 55 pitches thrown today by Lefner. And now Jerry Weinstein coming out for a word with his right-hander. The infield coming in as well. Looks like Roberts might be trying to buy time for the man he has out in the bullpen getting loose. And it looks like Jerry Weinstein's just come out to do the dirty work for Roberts. Jerry Weinstein takes the ball away from Ryan Lefner. A new man coming in from the bullpen for the Kettleers to close out and get the last 2 outs of what could be a 7-2 win for Cotuit. This game getting interesting, though. Runners on the corners. Hyannis trying to cut into a 7-2 deficit here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We'll be back with the conclusion, possibly, of this game in just a moment.
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
One down here in the 9th inning. Wave goodbye to Ryan Leffner and say hello to Steven Schock, an all-star for this Kettleers ball club. On to close this game after 2 1/3 innings pitched by Ryan Leffner. 5 hits, 1 run, one of them earned. Correction, Steven Schock not in this game for the Cotuit Ball Club. It is actually Garrett Gale who will be in to close this one out for the Kettleers. Cotuit leads by 5 runs, 7-2. Gale will start things off with runners on the corners and Seth Gray at the plate. The first pitch. Ball 1 high and outside. Garrett, 13 innings pitched on the season. 0.69 ERA in those 10 games. 11 strikeouts to go with it. Do you 1-0? Cut on in, popped up down the third base line. The third baseman in Smith comes way into foul territory and makes the grab, fighting off the shade and the sun for out number 2. And the Harbor Hawks are down to their last out with one of their most fearsome hitters coming up to the plate in Todd Lott. Still runners on the corners. 2 away now in the top of the 9th. 7-2. Hyannis trails. But Todd Lott, someone who can change all that with one swing of the bat. He leads this ball club with 5 home runs and was leading the Cape for a good deal of the summer in homers. Gale to the set. He throws back over towards third base. Actually doesn't throw the ball at all. Just trying to make Will Holland dive back to the bag. The third baseman in Smith nowhere close to the bag to even field a throwback. The first pitch. Hacked on and sent high in the air out towards the left center field gap. This one is chasing Burdick over towards the gap, and he dives. Full extension, makes the catch, and that is the ball game. 7-2 the score. Cotuit taking this one. The Barnstable Patriot Cup Series going for the Kettleers for now the 3rd year in a row. A 4-2 series win for the Cotuit Ball Club. Robert, a disappointing end to what's been a thrilling series at times.
It sure has, and a interesting game really today. Kind of a frustrating one for the Harbor Hawks today, I felt like. But they just have to come back tomorrow at home against Orleans. Definitely corral themselves together, be able to get a win tomorrow at home.
Todd Lott robbed of a hit right there up in center field. Peyton Burdick not really impressing anyone with his bat today. 0 for 3 with a hit by pitch. But with the leather, made a nice play there. Todd Lott with a tough day at the plate as well. Chalk him up to 0 for 5 right now. The Harbor Hawks having plenty of opportunities to put men home, but just unable to do so. They stranded multiple runners on base twice in this game and stranded somebody on base in all but 1 inning in this game. It seems like just a recurrence of old problems for Hyannis today.
Definitely did today, as I said, a frustrating one, not being able to score runs. And, that's any time you can't score runs, you're not going to win a lot of games, especially in this league, and they didn't do that today.
Zach Cohn also off to a bit of a rough start for the Harbor Hawks today. 5 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings pitched. A bit of a different side of Zach, as he looked really dominant in his first start of the season. Those 5 walks really just showing that he didn't quite have his control with him today.
Yeah, just really kind of just cut in the corners, forcing the umpire, to have to make crucial calls in the game, and it didn't go his way, and I'm sure he's definitely frustrated about that.
Lyle Goldstein coming to you with post-game coverage. He already had the pregame coverage. Now he's coming up with a post-game wrap-up of this game. He'll take you around the league in just a moment. We'll step aside here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network, but Lyle Goldstein to take things over when we get back. Final score one last time from me, 7-2. Cotuit taking this one here at Lowell Park and taking the Barnstable Patriot Cup Series for the 3rd time in as many years. Don't go anywhere. More to come here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network.
In combination with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and Ocean Street Studios comes a brand
Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright. Magic Works Media copyright.
Welcome into the Hyannis Harbor Hawks post-game show here on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. I'm Lyle Goldstein as the Patriot Cup for the third straight year stays in the town of Cotuit. Kettleers winning the season series by a final score of 4-2, and they take the game here today and the sixth and final contest between the two rival teams by a final score of 7-2. Cotuit really got off to a hot start on offense in the second inning. They took advantage of some free passes from Zach Cohn. 3 straight walks from the Central Michigan right-hander resulted in back-to-back RBI hits from the Cotuit Ball Club. Garrett Wolforth with a double in the second, and then Will Robertson following that up with an RBI single. Quickly 4-0 Cotuit. Hyannis put up a run in the fifth, mustered a little bit of offense from a Davis Wenzel double and then a Matthew Barefoot double. Matthew Barefoot we'll get back to in a minute. But then the Kettleers put up 3 of their own in the fifth. Again, the free passes coming back to haunt them. A hit by pitch and a walk to start things in the top half or bottom half of the fifth frame. That was followed up by a sac bunt and then an RBI single from Michael Tolia. 2 batters later, more of the same, an RBI single from the Texas left fielder and Duke Ellis. Then Hyannis put an additional up in the 7th inning. Leadoff single from Kyle Wilkie. Couple of more men reaching base on singles. Taylor Garrison infield hit. Will Holland a single of his own. And then an RBI walk from Matthew Barefoot. I think you're starting to get the idea of what we'll get back to in a minute. 7-2, the final score. 2 big innings, giving the Kettleers the boost they needed. And Luke Chevalier, what a day for him. The hometown kid, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, and 4 walks. For the Harbor Hawks today, it was more or less a struggle to get runners in when they were in scoring position. The left runners on base, as you heard Chris Lucey mention before he signed off, it's been a problem for the Harbor Hawks a lot of the season. You saw it early on in the year, and it at hand again today really bit their Achilles heel a little bit. A dozen runners left on board for the Harbor Hawks. Every inning but one, there was runners left on base, that being just the 6th and a 1-2-3 inning. The only time there wasn't, but in the 7th, 3 men left on base, a pair left on in the first, and just not being able to capitalize on 2 out hits. But going away from the negative stuff and staying on the positive, how about the day of Matthew Barefoot, the Campbell product? My goodness, does this kid just continue to hit. On base percentage over 500 after today. Average now sits at a whopping .414, and bearing a huge day from Austin Shenton from the Wareham Gateman. He will once again lead the Cape League in batting average when tomorrow rolls around. The day for Barefoot, reaching base all 5 times, 3 of them on hits, 2 singles and an RBI double, as well as a hit by pitch and an RBI walk. Matthew Barefoot reached base in every single game this season. All but 3 games he's recorded a hit, and continuing to stay on a roll here in this Cape League summer. That's one of the few bright spots for the Harbor Hawks today. Will Holland also contributing 2 hits with a single and an RBI, or a single and a ground rule double, and his final 2 at bats of the game. But Harbor Hawks again just continuing to lack mustering up some offense against this Cotuit ball club, as they've scored 3 runs or less in 4 of their 6 appearances this season. Scored 1 run in the first game, 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and then just 2 today in the 6th game. So Cotuit really having Hyannis' number this season. They take the Patriot Cup 4-2. To take you around the rest of the league really quickly and see how everything else is shaping up around the Cape. Bottom of the 7th inning at Red Wilson Field currently. Whitey Red Sox, the best team on the Cape by record and points up to this point in the season. 8-2 on the Bourne Braves. Once again, that in the bottom of the 7th inning. Chatham Anglers, safe to say, they flushed last night's loss because they're currently up 16-3 on the Brewster Whitecaps out at Stony Brook Field. Everybody on the Chatham offense contributing. I mean, look at it. Everybody but 1 player with a hit on the Chatham club today. Chatham, we know they're offensive friendly. We know this offense is absolutely loaded. Just didn't show it until the tail end of the ball game last night. But this could be a big sleeper in the Eastern Division when the playoffs roll around, especially with the re-addition of Spencer Torkelson, who just returned from Team USA a couple of days ago. Out at Gov Bowler Field, the Falmouth Commodores are up 5-2 on the Orleans Firebirds, another Western Division foe currently leading the ball game. 3-run lead for the Commodores out west in Falmouth. Falmouth sitting at 33 points on the summer, trailing the Harbor Hawks by 7 coming into today, and the Gatemen by 4, and looking to pick up a little bit of ground. Speaking of the Gatemen, they're out at White House Field currently in the 4th inning, up 2-0 on the Harwich Mariners. An interdivision matchup between the Gatemen and Harwich. Mariners lost all 4 games to the Harbor Hawks this season, and currently sitting in the 3rd spot in the Eastern Division with 30 points. And finally, one last time here at Lowell Park, 7-2 the final score in favor of the Kettleers. They win the Patriot Cup for the 3rd straight year, 4-2. 7-2 the final score. The final line for each team in today's ball game: Hyannis 2 runs on 8 hits, 2 errors, and 12 left on base. Meanwhile, for the Kettleers, 7 runs on 7 hits, a pair of errors, and 5 left on base. The hometown hero in Luke Chevalier, right-handed pitcher out of Northern State University, picks up the win today. First time starting a game here at Lowell Park in his career on the Cape, and moves to 2-0. Once again, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, and 4 strikeouts. Zach Cohn suffers his first loss. The Central Michigan right-hander got the start for the Harbor Hawks today. It was his 2nd start of the summer. He moves to 1-1 on the year. 5:01 was the first pitch time. Game lasted 2 hours and 28 minutes. Just under 1,000 people in attendance tonight. Cotuit tomorrow stays here at home and welcomes in the Chatham Anglers, who are going to be coming off a massive win over the last place Brewster Whitecaps, barring some miracle comeback from the Eastern Division team in Brewster. 16-3 that score out at Stony Brook Field. Cotuit on the day now moves to 14-15-3. As for the Harbor Hawks, they drop to 19-11-2 on the year. They await the results of the Wareham Gatemen to see where they'll sit in the Western Division at the conclusion of tonight, and they'll welcome in the Orleans Firebirds in interdivision matchup. 3rd time seeing Orleans this season, as Hyannis swept both games of a doubleheader out at Eldridge Park early on in the season. That'll be an interdivision game, and the 3rd time these 2 teams have squared up. That'll be tomorrow at 6 p.m. on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network and out at McKeon Park, as the Harbor Hawks look to pick up their 20th win of the season tomorrow night. Once again, 7-2 the final score here in Cotuit. One final time, Patriot Cup belongs to the Kettleers, 4-2, and for the 3rd straight year in 2018. That'll do it here on the post-game show. I'm Lyle Goldstein. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back in action at 5:30 p.m. with the pregame show tomorrow in Hyannis at McKeon Park. against the Orleans Firebirds. You've been listening to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks Digital Network. We'll see you tomorrow back at home against Orleans.